I studied and learned for a purpose, my dear.
All right, Lamont, I realize all that. But now the entire underworld has but one objective: to erase the shadow.
Yeah, what up? It is time for Gray Matter and talk about some NFL nonsense. I will be going solo until my esteemed co-host decides to show up because I think it's better for the viewer if I do not play music through the first 30 minutes of an episode. So, I imagine Carrie will be showing up momentarily, but until then, let's go over some of the nonsense that was today in the NFL. Trade deadline happened today, so that meant that there were some teams waving the flag and giving up. Some teams said, fuck this shit. We're in clearance mode, and they're going to gut contracts and players that they can't think that they could re-sign and whatnot, which happened. And then you see other teams that know that they are priming for themselves a Super Bowl run, and they are making motherfucking moves. The rich get richer, even in the NFL. Which is wild considering how much money is involved now with the Waltons buying a team and Tepper owning the Panthers and Bezos trying to buy a team. The amount of money is unfathomable. Now, stadiums cost multiple $billion. Absolutely nuts. So, huge trades happened all day long. But you saw some teams, like I said, fuck it. Some teams said we are getting better. The Dolphins odd that the Dolphins are making so many moves considering the fact that they have the Bills to contend with. But that doesn't mean that they cannot position themselves for a playoff spot considering how horrible some of these teams are. Most of the teams that made huge moves today are priming themselves for a deep playoff run and possibly a Super Bowl run. So the Dolphins made multiple moves today. Bringing Bradley Chubb in from Denver was fucking huge. Absolutely massive for them because their defense isn't that good. So a huge upgrade on the defensive front. And adding Jeff Wilson Jr. in the backfield with Raheem Mostert, who they were teammates last year in San Francisco. Also where McDaniels, the Dolphins head coach, was an assistant. So he's bringing in a player that he knows and trusts. Dolphins making moves. Absolutely making moves. The Bills are the best team in football possibly, and they swung huge and going for Nyheim Hines, which, I mean, Kerry and I discussed numerous times over the last couple of weeks about the one thing that they were missing was a power running back, and Hines isn't necessarily a power running back. They did trade away Zach Moss. I think they have Devin Singletary is their lead back, who will take the physical aspect, and Hines will be effective out of the backfield. They do have Dalvin Cook's younger brother as a third down back, so that's going to eat up his touches and opportunities. But they did add Hines, which is, they didn't really need this. This is like a luxury ad. Absolute and total luxury ad. The Jags adding Calvin Ridley, but next year, because Calvin Ridley is suspended for the rest of this season and possibly further, but at least this season for gambling on NFL games on FanDuel. Interesting that they know they're going to build around Trevor Lawrence, and they will build around their young talent, so it doesn't surprise me that they're already looking ahead to next year considering their record this year. There's nobody good in their division. I mean, the Titans are pretty solid, but if Ryan Tannehill doesn't come back healthy, then are they really, really primed for a deep run with Malik Willis at quarterback? I mean, I know you can turn around and hand the ball to Derrick Henry 65 times a game, but that's not going to win you a Super Bowl. The Lions basically waved the white flag on their season, and for some reason traded away T.J. Hawkinson. Doesn't really make sense considering he's one of their best players. They don't really use him. No teams are really using their tight ends this year outside of Kansas City and Baltimore. But he is young, and I guess they don't want to have to pay him when he's off of his rookie deal. The Vikings, it makes sense because Irv Smith Jr. just had a high ankle sprain, so he's going to miss a couple games, so they immediately fill that void. And the Vikings look like they are absolutely making a run for the Super Bowl because, honestly, in the NFC preseason we talked about, it was coming down to two teams, Tampa Bay and Green Bay, essentially, because there wasn't really anybody else in the entire conference. And it doesn't seem to be the case this season. So you could absolutely make a run in the NFC right now and make it to a Super Bowl if you're Minnesota. Why not? Who's going to stop you? Card Bunker, what up, homie? Who the fuck's going to stop you? What, Tampa? Green Bay? Neither of these teams are any good whatsoever. Seattle and the New York Football Giants are the class of the NFC essentially at this moment. And really? Like, really? I know New Orleans looks like they might turn things around, and the NFC South is absolutely dumpster fire, garbage juice, terrible. So, yeah, so the Vikings This because Irv Smith Jr. just got hurt, so they filled that hole immediately, and that tells you they don't trust any of their backup tight ends. But imagine now when Irv Smith Jr. returns, and now they have 2 tight end sets to go with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. So they didn't really need to add a better third wide receiver. KJ Osborne has been filling that role, I guess. But yeah, the Vikings absolutely made a move to win the NFC and make it a Super Bowl because the NFC is terrible. I'm trying to think of anybody in the NFC that is like, this team right here is going to absolutely make a run. It'll probably actually end up being the 49ers. Adding Christian McCaffrey, insane. So imagine all the things that they're going to be able to do when Debo gets back healthy with Debo, Ayuk, CMC, George Kittle. So, you looked at that 49ers move and adding Christian McCaffrey and think to yourself, what the fuck did they do that for? Well, now you can see, because there's nobody good on that side of the football, or that side of the NFL. There we go. Let me look at the standings real. Well, the Eagles. So, Minnesota's looking at it like you're going to have to win one football game against a top-tier Super Bowl caliber team to get to the Super Bowl. I know the Cowboys are pretty solid, and that Micah Parsons just makes that defense incredible. But if you look at the rest of the NFC, absolute garbage. The Rams have a losing record. The Bucs have a losing record. The Saints have a losing record. The Lions are terrible. The Packers have a losing record. So you're essentially looking at the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Vikings and Seahawks, with the Giants, and then, I don't know, the Niners, I guess. The Niners will probably overtake Seattle for that division for the NFC West, I imagine, by the end of the year through the second half. They're only one game back. So, Seattle is surprisingly good. Doesn't really make sense. It goes to show you that just how polarizing Russell Wilson actually is, because he presided over the tail end of that nosedive in Seattle, and then once he left, essentially that's the same football team as last year, except instead of Rashard Penny being a beast on the ground, it's Kenneth Walker III. But Russell Wilson leaves, that whole team is essentially the exact same, and Geno Smith has them with a winning record and looking like Seattle of old. It's interesting. And now, the Broncos have probably the most unwatchable professional football team in the league right now. It's hard to watch. It's hard to stomach. They're disgusting. The Steelers got rid of Claypool, which that writing was on the wall, especially with the emergence of George Pickens. So it was just odd that the Bears shipped out 2 defensive studs, but then added an offensive player. So I'm not real sure what the Bears' game plan is there and where they're headed. That's not what this is about. There were a bunch of other trades. I know Carrie and myself were texting throughout the day as these things were happening. I mean, essentially, the NFL is going to come down to the NFL is starting to look like the NBA, where there's like 4 teams that are actually capable of winning a championship, and then there's everyone else. So there's a few teams that are actually capable of winning a championship. Vegas, what up, Hobie? And it looks like there may be 2 in each division. I know that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year, and you would think that, possibly they could get shit together. But I don't understand why the Bengals didn't make any moves to try to shore up their offensive line. And I don't understand why the Packers continue to do absolutely nothing while Aaron Rodgers is there on that roster. And I cannot fathom for the life of me why some teams make absolutely no moves whatsoever. I think maybe they think to themselves that they realistically don't have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, so the teams that do, the Eagles add Quinn. The Chiefs make tons of moves to improve themselves. The Cowboys actually added defensive line help. The Bills added players. This is the exact same thing that Tampa and the Rams did in the last 2 seasons and primed themselves for a Super Bowl run, and it was really literally a Super Bowl run. Because it doesn't look like the Rams are even... that division sucks. So I guess anybody could win that division. I mean, it doesn't really suck. The 49ers will turn it around. The 49ers will actually go as far as Jimmy G will take them because the rest of the roster is loaded. It always has been. And it's always come down to the quarterback position with them, which is exactly why they decided to try Trey Lance at the beginning of the season, because they needed an upgrade from Jimmy G. Jimmy G can get you there. And he's one really, really, really bad throw away from being a Super Bowl champion and probably a Super Bowl MVP. The quarterback usually gets it anyway. But it was a really, really bad miss by like 15 feet. Water bottle, what up? So the Ravens improve today too. Forgot about them, but they go and add the NFL's leading tackler, Roquan Smith. So once again, it goes to question why in the world they're getting rid of their probably 2 best defenders and then adding Chase Claypool of all people. It doesn't really make sense. But the Ravens, who also realized that there's an opportunity for them to snatch that division because nobody's really running away from it. Had Cincinnati won last night, they would have had literally all of the momentum and whatnot. But the Ravens improved based solely on the fact that their defense is absolutely atrocious. So, in adding the NFL's leading tackler, not only is Roquan Smith the NFL's leading tackler, this guy is downhill, top of helmet to face mask thumper. So he fits. He fits like that Baltimore, style and theme, I guess. Since Matthew Judon left and went to New England, there has been a giant gaping hole where he used to play. Even though Roquan Smith plays in the middle, you now put, what is it, Queen? Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith together, and now all of a sudden it becomes increasingly difficult to operate through the center on Baltimore. So, I don't know. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't make sense. But Water Bottle, you are correct. The Ravens did, in fact, improve themselves because their defense is terrible. I cannot hear you. Now that our esteemed co-host has joined the fray, I don't have to sit here and talk by myself. Makes things a lot easier.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, I just want to, before we get into the madness that was the illest trade day in the NFL history, I just want to start this one off with just a little sadder note. Just found out not a few minutes ago, a buddy of mine passed away. Still trying to find out how. Spoke to him on the 4th because we were supposed to get together, and he texted me he was in the hospital. So, you know, I give people they space, they rest, whatever, but I've been hitting him, and he's the type that'll hit you back. And I was like, man, something ain't right. I'm gonna have to hit him up. Something's nagging at me like, feel like something ain't right. And so then I Googled and I hit obits, and I was right. Died in Lenox Hill Hospital on the 6th, 2 days after I talked to him.
Damn,
So,
R.I.P. to the homie. T's and P's to everybody.
there you go. Robbie, wherever you at, baby.
Yeah, lots of odd nonsense going on lately, but you know, that's for another day and another topic.
Yeah,
Here-
I just had to get that out. So it was already on for some new information. So I just had to get that out. So just won't be weighing on me. The whole broadcast, a
So
broadcast that is going to talk about one of the wackiest trade days in the history of the league.
well, I think that's just a new NFL, right? So this is how it's going to be moving forward.
I think so.
You know, everything
The way
has
people are
changed.
Team building.
Yeah, everything has changed, and the teams that realistically have a shot to like win their division all are making moves to like, yo, we can win this. And some of them are based off of the fact that other teams just aren't running away with it. Like Baltimore making moves is on the fact that Cincinnati's just not running away with the division.
It's still in the pack. Plus, when I guess the GM or whatever for the Rams straight up was like, yeah, we mortgaged the ranch and we did it and we won. Now the team, don't think other teams didn't notice that.
Tampa Bay
You know
did the
what?
same thing.
Like, you know what? You right. Let's do it.
Tampa
But
brought in
with-
Todd.
With Tampa, we always kind of thought that was a 2-year thing. Now these teams are doing it for right now. We could do it right now this year. When Tampa won it that first year, now the Rams are like, oh shit, we get Stafford in here. We can win. We got then Von Miller, OBJ. So when I saw what the Dolphins did today, oh they taking a big cut.
See, that was the one that was odd to me, considering the fact that they have the Bills in their division. So the Dolphins are a playoff team, yes, but then they're not going to win that division. It's not going to happen.
I tell you why it's not odd. Because they want to build, they want to get that unit together. Because they got hybrids. They got Chubb, they got Jalen Phillips, they got Agba, and they got the other two. Plus they got Wilkins in there, who's a monster. Denver already paid Randy Gregory. Then they were like, are we also going to pay Chubb too? Because Chubb is coming up. So they were looking for a situation maybe to get out of the Chubb situation, since Denver does have other defensive linemen that are ready. Like that one kid, Browning. Browning is nice, and he's only going to get nicer. And so this gives Miami a chance to now lock Chubb up, really solidify that defense. And I thought it was interesting what they did with the running back situation.
No, that made
too.
sense. That actually, once you dig into it, it actually makes sense.
Yeah, it did.
So Wilson and Mostert were teammates in San Francisco already, underneath of McDaniels.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and you get the sense this whole season watching the workload that they didn't fucking like Edmonds anyway.
No, Edmonds was out.
They're all about
Edmonds had to leave.
They're all about it's a track meet with them. So if Jeff Wilson is your power back, then you're just a speed team.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
Mostert's been getting busy.
And also, so is Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
He'll give you that straight ahead. I'm going to give you these straight. I'm going to pound you straight ahead, and then that's it. Mostert can catch out the backfield, and he'll give you all the speed you need. Plus now Mike Gesicki's even getting more involved, which I'm glad. I'm like, I know you use tight end. You have other tight ends who could block. He needs to be out there catching passes, stop playing.
No, they definitely got better. The Bills. I mean, we've talked about it for weeks. They need a closer. This isn't a closer. This is a third down running back who's can actually run routes. You can line him up in the slot and he can run routes. So it makes sense. But they still don't have that, like, Josh Allen's still their power running game.
They thought they had it with Zach Moss, but he's been a disappointment, and they got rid of him.
Yeah. Well, this
and
shows you that
now-
the Colts are waving the white flag on this season. It's a wrap for them.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got the sense their team was snake bitten when Shaquille Leonard, formerly Darius, but he changed his whole name. It's a whole new individual to us. Got that surgery, and then it has not worked out so far with Stephon Gilmore and and Taylor, who never missed games. Now he's missing games and he's hurt. And I think it's interesting now they got that kid, his new backup. So it's going to be funny to see how they use Zach Moss, if they use Zach Moss, or if they go with the younger guy.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Bills just somehow inexplicably got better. The Packers didn't. Again, the Packers are going to be same old Packers. We have to start saying it. The Packers are the Packers. They make zero moves ever. They don't draft anybody that helps them score points. They never ever make off-season moves. This shit is retarded. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams have to be the maddest people in football right now. Don't even get me started on Devontae putting up a whole 2 points this week and get me a loss in my NFL league. Thanks, homie. Thanks. I lost by 7.
I knew they said he was sick.
Yeah, I know. I had St.
Almost took
Brown,
him out.
but then I was just like, Carr's just going to feed him. He tried to. They just aren't on the same fucking page.
Especially with Waller being out. I was like, And then Renfro is there. He ain't doing anything. The only one doing anything is Hollins.
And Jacobs.
And Jacobs.
And, they are one of... Yeah, they're one of the worst teams in football.
So now...
Which is incredible.
This begs the question, what's up with your man Josh McDaniels?
So...
because homie who was the interim had these boys clicking.
So he had a very long meeting, one-on-one meeting with Chucky. Not Chucky, but, bad haircut, Mark Davis.
Oh.
Mark Davis backpack Chucky.
Okay.
So
Children of the Corn.
Children, definitely. So there's, some discourse growing in the desert in Vegas for sure because they look terrible. They look terrible.
Super bad.
This happened the last time he was a head coach.
This is my whole point.
He had the miracle of Tim Tebow winning 7 out of 8 games to sneak them into the playoffs.
That was John Fox.
Was that John Fox?
That was John Fox. He's the one who drafted Timmy Teebs, and it was like, John Fox was the one who figured out, okay, well, since I got this guy and he's my quarterback, well, let's just see. And then he's the one that was the head coach when Timmy Teebs went on the 324 Psalm run.
I mean, when Jesus is your fullback, you're gonna go score some touchdowns, homie.
Sure. There'll be one set of footsteps on that turf.
So the other big one, a side one, interesting, but not really, makes sense. Ridley next year, when available, it's still indefinite suspension. It'll just be the year.
It'll be here.
So Ridley to the Jags, dope for Trevor Lawrence because Ridley is fucking dope. So really dope for him because Ridley is the type of guy that Trevor Lawrence needs. Ridley is a 10 to 18 yard route running master. So
Plus, he's gonna be in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not to say you can't get in trouble in Jacksonville, but in Jacksonville and Atlanta, I could say.
Well, I mean, the trouble that he got in was fucking gambling on FanDuel, putting like a 13-leg parlay together on FanDuel and shit.
And didn't he say he didn't really know you couldn't do that or some nonsense like that?
I mean, when it's legal, he's just dumb. He's just dumb.
Also, because before that he took off because of mental health, right? What he said.
Yeah. Who knows?
Somebody lying.
Who knows?
Lying about something.
But it's good for Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Etienne is absolutely taken over that backfield, which they shipped James Robinson out to the Jets because the Jets were in need because the Jets are trying to win get a playoff spot. Everybody knows they're not winning that division. I don't care. They should realistically look and be like, listen, we can't beat Buffalo. So
couldn't beat the Pats.
Exactly. So, I swear to God, I had it as New England because
Me too, and I switched it.
as soon as I heard Mac was a starter, I actually was just like, nope.
I switched that, and I switched another one that I'm sure we'll get to, and I'd be like, damn it, I switched that
Oh,
one.
I switched New Orleans in the Raiders.
I switched that one too.
So
There was 3 I switched.
still hitting
And
double
I
digits.
don't normally switch. I hate that.
I always do. I hear things and then I think, well, that's going to change everything. And
Well, you know what I did switch? I did choose the Giants initially because I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop picking against my squad. And I was like, you know what? I just know too much. We're not going to get this one. We're just not. We're not. And Geno's probably going to have a phenomenal game. And he would have had a phenomenal game if Lockett doesn't drop that other touchdown. He already had a dope game.
Yeah,
Walker
so
killed us.
with Seattle, that early season run of horrible, like historically bad defense has people thinking that that's who their defense was, but their defense has vastly improved through the second half of the first half of football because we are officially at the halfway point. Technically. The 17 game makes it weird, but a lot of teams have already had byes.
Yeah.
So we are technically at the NFL halfway point. So that second quarter, Seattle's defense improved vastly improved. And with Geno not giving turnovers, not giving the ball up and making mistakes, it makes your defense a lot better. So what I was talking about before you popped in is how much of a piece of shit Russell Wilson actually is. Because the Seahawks have changed nothing. Pete Carroll's still there. Coordinators are still there. They actually got rid of their best players. Bobby Wagner's out. Veteran leadership gone. Russ out.
So Pete is the leader.
Yeah, they kept DK, which everyone thought they were going to get rid of DK. They kept Tyler. Penny gets hurt, and all of a sudden Kenneth Walker takes over. And the only thing that you actually changed, because Penny had a dope second half of the season last year, so Kenneth Walker is actually better, but he wasn't a slouch by any means whatsoever.
No, not at all.
The only thing that you change is you put in Geno.
That's it.
And this team looks like the old Seattle.
I'll be honest. My only concern was the wide receiver room. If someone was going to get disgruntled, we already knew DK was going to get the rock. That's why I was not worried at all about drafting DK Metcalf, because one thing I know Geno throws it to the best the one he identifies as the best receiver, he's definitely going to throw him the ball a lot.
Well, I had DK
But-
last year, and whenever Russ would get hurt and Gino would go in, I was feasting.
Eat.
Turnovers galore last season, but that's like I said, he's not turning the ball over this year.
Right. He's got. You could be in the system, but unless you getting those snaps on the field, those game snaps, you're not going to really be able to put it together fully. Now he's putting it together fully, and now that we've seen that, him and Tyler Lockett are getting a better relationship together. Now,
Well, also with Gino,
everything's over.
listen, this stems from him blowing many games at WVU, so my opinion on him is swayed and biased.
I know.
I will have to give him credit. He doesn't. Yeah, he will. If DK's 1-on-1, he's getting the fucking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a matter of if you're open. Oh, it's DK. Let's throw it to him.
Mm-hmm.
In every other scenario, he doesn't really care who it is. Both those tight ends get work evenly. You never know which one's going to have a better game than the other one. They're frustrating as fuck for fantasy. DK gets hurt, and then all of a sudden Goodwin comes in and has 2 touchdowns. But he has Lockett, and then he also has Eskridge had
Oh yeah, that's great.
will get into the end zone randomly.
Yeah.
It's just like it doesn't really matter. Now, like you said, he's got his rapport. He's building it with Tyler, which, it looks like Tyler Lockett was making Russell Wilson
Yeah.
instead of the other way around because Tyler is fucking super dope.
He is. I knew they were going to run that same play again. I was like, they're going to come right back to that play. He was all he did was drop it. And then he got even more open the second time they went to it, which, come on, Wink. Or I don't know whose fault that was. I'm like, come on. That's on the players. Like, you got to recognize that. You got to know that they're going to come back to it. So I wouldn't have felt for any fake little quick out. I'm like, nah, they're going to try to get me deep again. I already know.
So what do you think the Lions are doing?
Living off of the best Hard Knocks ever. That's it.
I mean, this is his 4th year, correct? So he's only
Yeah.
the team would have the 5th-year option, but he's going to want to get out of his rookie deal. So yeah, I understand you're going to have to pay this guy, but like,
That's your bet. I mean, he's someone you continue to build with.
he has the highest ceiling of anyone else on their offense by far. I know St. Brown is really dope, but I think St. Brown has shown us exactly what he's
ceiling.
capable of.
When you have a dope tight end, which not many teams in this league do, they got good ones or serviceable ones. But when we're talking about this guy is like right underneath, I would say, obviously you have
Kelsey and Andrews.
And Andrews. Then you got
Kittle.
Kittles and Waller and
I'd put him in that group.
Hoxton's right there with them.
Yeah, I'd put him in
And-
that
and
group because he
Gesicki, and he gets more work than Gesicki.
can. Plus, Hawkinson can really block.
Yes.
So, I mean, good for look at Minnesota recognizing what they have right now. Like, we're going to run away with this division. The NFC sucks outside of the Eagles.
And Irv Smith does what he always does.
He gets hurt.
He's hurt. So yeah, now you have a legit tight end that you can actually
Like a stud.
count on.
Like a stud.
That you can count on.
So
And
this
so you don't got to worry about Irv.
this also not only this year, next year, and the following year, depending on how many years they'll probably sign him to like a 4 or 5 year deal or whatever. But he'll probably play like 3 of that. It's like almost NFL contracts are like prison sentences now. You only have to do like 65% of your time, right? So
But that's the thing too, because a lot of these players that moved also were on deals like that,
yeah,
where the teams that they want were going to have to pay them. So it was like, oh, this is an opportunity to move on. They need, and I need. What can I get? A lot of people got picks back as compensation, but those who got other players, you saw was a lot of swapping going on.
So if you look at what the Vikings also do is, as Hawkinson, now listen, Kirk is going to feed that man the football. Are you kidding me? Like, just, it's going to be disgusting. He's going to be his new best friend. So, as Hawkinson as he gets closer and closer to his ceiling and improves, Adam Thielen is going to continue to age and regress farther and farther backwards. So this replaces the production and weapon that is Adam Thielen, because
Also, Osborne is on the rise.
well, he is, I think, only out of need though, because there's nobody.
Yeah.
Now you add Hawkinson in, and I'm going to feed Hawkinson the football before Osborne.
Sure. Absolutely.
So now Osborne goes back to your actual fifth option because you have Cook.
Yeah.
And who's their backup?
And actually, Madison.
Madison, and he's
Actually, this helps Cook out tremendously.
yeah. This helped. They
Having
got so much
mediocre
better.
season. Yeah, they did.
They got so much better, and Hawkinson gets to leave the dumpster fire that is Detroit Lions football and go to a team that is going to the playoffs, is going to win their division, and in a one-game scenario, anybody could win. And you get down to the Eagles and Vikings, what it looks like right now in the NFC is the two best teams. You get them two in the NFC Championship. It's a one-game scenario. You never know who's going to fucking win. Captain Kirk could have the game of his life, but probably not. The Eagles are. Hey, let's add Robert Quinn.
Depending on how the playoff seeding shakes out, it could be Dallas and Philly at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. They might have to play them earlier, which would
That's what
suck.
I'm just like, it depends on how that seeding shakes out.
I'm just
'cause-
thinking,
Sure.
rhetorically, what the best matchup at this point in the season would be Eagles and Vikings right now.
Again, and they've seen each other, and we saw what happened there. But the Vikings weren't ever really out of it. I mean, Kurt did everything he could to put them out of it, just continuing to throw picks to Slay. But now that you have this tight end who can press the seam
And block for Cook.
and block for Cook, which is really neat. Because you're going to have to be able to run against Philly.
Well, also, you're going to have an active tight end because Adam Thielen is getting absolutely erased by Bradbury. He's erasing which Bradbury or Osborne. It doesn't matter which one.
Mm-hmm.
He's better than both of those players. And then Slay is going to be on Jefferson. Or, both of them are going to play. But both of those corners are better than the Vikings' second and third option receivers by far.
For sure.
So now you add Hawkinson, and neither of those guys are going to cover him at all. He's going to put pressure on Harrison Smith and whichever linebackers are there. So they got so much better. And then you look like the compensation.
Harrison Smith's on the Vikings.
That's what
So it'll be like, Lennox is one of
who's the new guy that they just got? It's like a law firm almost. It's like three.
Oh
to
yeah,
four.
the slot corner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Hawkinson's
From New Orleans.
Yeah, Hawkinson's big though, so you're gonna have to. But look, then they go and add. Hey, let's go and add Robert Quinn. Like, why not? Why not? We're already the best team in football record-wise.
For real.
No. Let's just add this guy.
These teams are doing, and then the Chiefs getting Kadarius Toney, which watch, he's going to turn into a Tecmo Bowl player. They're going to unlock this kid, and he's going to be a human highlight film.
This I texted you. I was just like, oh, Andy, they're going to make him good because
I already knew it. Damn, I already knew it.
See, that's just smart football on their part because they look at a player that they know they could use that's not being used.
And they're looking at the Bills and seeing, damn, Gabe Davis is the truth. Like, we can't hold him, and we know what Diggs can do. Knox gives us problems, and now they can run a little bit. They're running better. Singletary's having his best year. I mean, he's not lighting the league on fire, but he's doing really good for them. And obviously, Josh is going to be Josh. So,
well, I mean, then they do that. They go and get Toney, and it's just like the Bills are like, fuck. So they go and add Hines.
They go add Hines. I know. This is so funny. It's so funny.
So this has never happened before, where it's this active at the trade deadline. Not only active, but like big name players. Christian McCaffrey getting traded. That's for fucking retarded. That changed the Niners' entire season.
Big players like that don't get traded in season.
They do now.
That's a rarity. It used to be a rarity. Now, Roquan Smith, that is a humongous pickup for Baltimore. This guy is nice.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get talked about because you got Fred Warner, you got Shaq Leonard, you got these other guys.
Have you ever seen a superstar get traded within their own division? Hawkinson going to the Vikings? Are you serious? That's interdivision.
Crazy.
You would see the Patriots do things like that, but not superstars.
Right.
Hawkinson's like Pro Bowl level. This is like a star football player.
That's why Green Bay would not allow the welfare thief to go to Minnesota. Then he had to go to the Jets first and show his dick, and then go.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see interdivision, especially in football.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so rare because GMs will literally refuse to trade them anywhere in the division.
I will send you anywhere except for these 3-4 teams. Ain't happening.
Lions said, "Fuck it." So it's the thing with getting all these picks. The current NFL model has showed you, fuck these picks. There is no building for the long term and let's build something in the long run. What the Patriots did is you cannot repeat across any sport. What they did for 2 decades will not, in this modern day free agency, big money players, streaming deals that are worth billions, the amount of money that players are going to get to go to teams that aren't that good is retarded, right? So,
and not just that, we're doing this instead of banking on the potential of what's coming out in college. You draft who you draft, whoever drafts who they draft, then they identify who lasts. Hey, that one's good. Want that one? We're gonna. How many picks do we have? What's our draft capital? All right, put a package deal and let's get that one. And then because they bought, now we know we're bringing in a proven commodity. That's the thing that we're missing. We add that.
see, this is how Bill Belichick was ahead of the rest of the league for so long and saying, "Yo, fuck these picks. Yeah, fuck this first round pick. I'm trading back."
We're getting key veterans that fit your system,
Which he always did.
Like Von Miller to the Rams, that was perfect. Like OBJ to the Rams, that made a lot of sense. And we did that when? During the season. We've identified who we want. And you want picks? Yeah, take them.
Yeah, take these
Because
picks.
We're gonna win chips. We're gonna win chips.
Yeah,
right
you can
now.
have a 4th round pick in 2027, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Whoever that'll be.
Because if I don't win these Super Bowls, I ain't going to be around for that shit anyway.
I ain't gonna have no germ anyway.
This is true, though. This is true. And then, there are certain picks that if you can land these players, you go like Justin Herbert, Micah Parsons. Like, you see players in college, you're just like, oh my God, this guy's...
For sure.
And other than that, like, you just don't know.
Like the nickname "Not for Long" really mean it's never meant that more than it does right now. For real, not for long. And those who have shown, those vets, if you show, look, JPP still got a job. Why? Because he shows he can still get to the quarterback. So they'll call you up. Jason Peters was fishing on a lake, and they were like, "Hey, we need this line help. We know you can do it. Doesn't matter you're 38 years old."
Trent Brown. Trent Brown's still playing, still the best in the league at his position, making tons of money.
So,
I guess.
to show you could do it.
Side note, I did miss a few. Adrian Peterson clearly coming out. You were just like, oh my God, that guy is going to be a fucking legend. And then the flood of receivers from the Bayou that came out back to back to back. All 3 of them, you just knew, oh, this guy is going to be amazing. He's better than everybody. A.J. Brown, I mean, I just got tired of seeing wide receivers from, like, those types of schools. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Laquan Treadwell really ruined that wide receivers from that school for me. So, N'Keal Harry,
I will say this.
Who had a touchdown this past week.
Yeah, N'Keal just had a touchdown. I was like,
holy shit.
For you. But I also saw that this is what people don't understand. N'Keal Harry is a big human being.
Giant.
The DB that was on him looked like a child. This is a big young man. You know what I mean? So that's what makes it even more frustrating because he is such a big physical presence. He should be posting these little dudes up and giving them that work.
Well, so that's the problem is New England drafted him instead of these stud receivers who went right after him. Don't get me started on this whole N'Keal Harry thing. I was not happy with it. Dude didn't even get separation in college. He just fucking boxed everyone out.
That's all he did.
So they put him at the Z. They split him out wide. That's not, unless you're on the goal line, that's not what you do with this guy. Like, look at how other players, and you would think, considering they had, Scarface on the team and was how they were utilizing him, you would do the same thing with Harry because Harry's not as athletic as Hernandez was at all, but he's bigger. He's bigger. So he's like kind of in between wide receiver and tight end, so just kind of use him that way.
Sure. Seam route, I'd have him
Shout out to
seam, blocking.
Harry getting a touchdown. Kevin White made a sighting and had a 48-yard catch out of nowhere. I was like, wait a minute.
That was crazy. I saw his face and I said, Kevin White?
I was like, he's still in the league?
Wow.
I thought when he didn't make the Saints squad that was it. I thought it was over for him. Because we talked about it. I was like, that's got to be his last shot.
I know. Well, we also thought it was Josh, what's his damn full name, out of Houston, out of Baylor. He smoked his way out the damn league, but amazing receiver, and he kept getting.
Oh,
chances.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, he finally got cut by the Chiefs, and then he went someplace. He got picked up again by the Titans, and then they let him go. I was surprised the Titans. Titans they had to. But,
Yeah, they got nobody.
He still got let go. So I gotta say, if the Titans let you go,
I would call T.O. before I would call Josh Gordon.
listen, T.O. is still running a fofo at 48 years old and still putting in that work.
Yeah, Pat McAfee was talking about this today, though. Yeah, 4-4 is kind of slow in the modern day NFL.
It can be, but also T.O. knows how to get open.
Yeah, Odell ran like a 4-4 or something, and Odell will smoke you. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And, you have to also remember about T.O. T.O. was never, a blazer. T.O. was just a phenomenal athlete, which he still is, and he could beat you off the line with his physicality, and he had enough speed for you not to catch him.
Gary, let me ask you this. How many times can you remember an NFL wide receiver running a straight line for their pattern, even if it's a go route, just from hut, straight line? Never. You're getting rerouted. You have to make a hesitation move. You have to gain leverage in or out and decide which way you're going to go. It's never just a straight line, which is hilarious. Game speed, football speed. It's never. You've never run a straight line in your life. Maybe in high school. Yeah.
Right.
In high school, you just run past somebody.
Who didn't know how to jam you. They didn't know.
They were playing.
They didn't know how to set their feet right.
They were playing 8 to 10 yards off the ball anyway, and you still toasted them. Come on.
Yeah.
So think about it. You've never run in a straight line ever. It never happens.
And I got to be, not for nothing, I got to give T.O. props. He still keeps himself near the game, and he keeps showcasing. He's doing this against kids in college who are players and starters hoping to go into the league and giving them that work.
Yeah, but what would be funny?
Funny.
If T.O. got a call from somebody, it's not going to happen.
It's not.
And he got into a game.
And got smoked.
Just got rocked.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely
and that's why
rocked.
That's why I would not want to see it happen.
Because the timing
Because there would be a safety or a linebacker that's going to be like, ooh, I get to light T.O. up, and I will be in highlights forever.
Wait a minute, T.O.'s already in the Hall of Fame, and I get to light him up? Oh, come on. I'm taking that 15 yards, too. Hilarious. So the Cowboys got better on defense somehow. Got more defensive line help. Sure, why not? They probably had an injury in their depth somewhere.
They did.
So you look at an ad like that to where it's not like a huge name. It's more of a depth ad. You're just like, well, there has to be an injury somewhere. It's just like
But it just makes their starters better.
When I saw Hawkinson got traded, I was just like, wait a minute, what? And then I didn't even know Irv Smith had gotten a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, me neither.
And it was just like, damn, they plugged that hole instantly.
With upgrade. They didn't plug the hole. They upgraded it.
So that
You
didn't
got a full bathroom.
that didn't happen. Kerry, there's no way that conversation and that deal happened from the time Irv Smith got hurt until today. That had to have been in the works already.
You had to know Minnesota has been looking to move forward from Irv Smith for a while. I'm saying even when he was younger, but they had the backup because they had
Rudolph
in front, Kyle Rudolph in front of him. But once they got rid of Rudolph and they had to actually depend on him, and they saw that they could not, they knew they had to make a move.
Well, plus it's the inability for them to add somebody else alongside Irv Smith anyway. They didn't develop anybody that they added. But you're also looking at a complete new coaching regime.
Sure,
So
regime.
Instead of Zimmer's cast-offs and whatnot, you're now looking. They added a top 5 tight end in the league today. Are you fucking kidding me?
And R.I.P. to Zimmer's son too.
Oh, yeah.
38 years old. Like
Zimmer's son, and then Reed's son got sentenced to like 3 years or something. Yeah, 3 years.
Well, if Reed's sons don't, all the sons are gone, either perished or prisoned.
See, that's the whole Hall of Fame speech. I wish I would have spent more time with my family because
with my kids.
In order to be great in the NFL, it does take all of your time.
And he had the type of family where he needed to be there. He himself needed to be there all the time. And
I heard a quote today that just goes to show you how much of an alien Allen Iverson actually was. Because he actually didn't need to practice at all. Like, are you kidding me? Practice? You saw how hard Mike, Kobe, how hard these players work, how dedicated. They outworked everybody. Kobe in the gym at 4 a.m. before team workouts at 6.
First workout, yeah, I know.
Like just on the Olympics, you saw the Redeem Team documentary. I don't know if you watched that one yet. Pretty fucking dope.
Not yet. I'm going to though.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. They had to have added sound when Kobe ran through Powell's chest.
Oh yeah.
It's too loud. There's no way it's that actually that loud.
I did see that clip. I was like, damn, there's no way. Unless Powell was wearing a microphone.
But it's just the amount of work that Kobe was doing, like in the gym and in the weight room on his own, while everyone else is like,
Karan Butler talks about what the workout was. There was a name for it.
Yeah. You'll watch it. It's dope. But
he was like, yo, he was like, he thought that was it. He was like, oh no, go ahead, get some rest, come back. We coming back at 4:00 and we gonna do it again.
And we're coming back in 45 seconds and we are going to do it again. What a segue. Yeah, I'm like a professional now. That was dope. All right, so yeah, if you guys have not watched the Redeem Team yet, I 100% recommend it. It was, Kobe has reached mythical status at this point. So anytime you get to hear stories, behind the scenes and behind the curtain and behind the veil of what was Kobe and what made him who he was, it's always dope to hear that shit. You hear what it takes to be that level of great. They all told you, man, Kobe ain't have no friends. Like, he had Z, what up? He ain't have no friends, man. All he had was winning. That was it. Was his only friend. Chilling, man. You know, talking about football, smoking weed. Same thing I do every Tuesday, homie. Waiting for Carrie to pop back in. That was the illest segue ever. I'm like a professional now.
Wait, say that again.
I said that was the illest segue ever.
I was just thinking about that the entire time. I was gonna say I gotta get props for that segue.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was like, damn, we working real good together.
Yeah, that was a good one. So let's go over all the trade deadline deals. The Bills pick up a safety, Dean Marlowe from the Falcons.
Saw that.
That obviously replaces the safety they got, not Poyer, the other guy.
The other one who looked like his neck was broken.
Yeah, that replaces him. The Falcons get Rashad Fenton from the Chiefs, which is interesting because their defense sucks. So,
well, he lost his job anyway, and because they like the way the rookie corners are playing, so he was expendable.
All right, we already talked.
If you're an expendable on the Chiefs at corner, you
are trash.
You must need to work. You need to be on the practice squad, my friend.
Yeah, you're not Allen Iverson. You don't get to sit out practice. The Bills get Nyheim Hines and give up Zach Moss. Total upgrade for them. The Broncos add defensive end Jacob Martin from the Jets. But they just let...
I would say depth.
Yeah, well, they just let Chubb go, so...
Yeah, but they got other people to slot in. Browning, obviously, Randy Gregory is about to come back. Browning
well,
is there.
like you said, you look at Browning stepping up to take Chubb's role, with this guy taking the backup role, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
That was more of a need fill. The Jags add Calvin Ridley next year for a 5th rounder and a conditional 4th rounder.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins add Jeff Wilson Jr. for a 5th rounder. See, these picks ain't shit. The Steelers add quarterback William Jackson III from the Commanders.
Let's go, Cougs. Jackson, Cougs, baby.
We already talked about Bradley Chubb.
Wait. Where did Willie go?
To the Steelers. Interesting. Their pass defense does suck. So
They do.
Bradley Chubb basically gets swapped for Chase Edmonds and a 1st rounder and a 4th rounder. Somebody getting traded for a 1st rounder, kind of big.
It is, and now, I mean, they've committed that humongous contract to Russ. So the defense is looking really good. Now, you gotta hope Javonte comes back, okay? But what are we looking for here? This kid, Dulcich, at tight end,
youth. Their best players on their team are all rookies. Dulcich is dope. Surtain is incredible.
So then we got to think offensive line. They definitely need to upgrade that. But Dulcich is dope. I'm liking the receiving core. It's just their current quarterback ain't getting it to him.
Well, I think the loss of the rookie running back.
Javonte really hurt.
Well, it hurt my fantasy team.
That's when Russ was getting it out faster because he was getting it to him 10 times a damn game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's a huge loss for somebody that's such a vital key to what you're doing on offense. So you lose that guy, you lose all of your lead back carries, which is probably going to be... Denver's always been by committee, so he's probably going to get like 14 to 18 carries, maybe 20 if he's having a really good game. But he's also Russ's safety valve, and he could really catch out of the backfield, so he was giving you touches galore out of the backfield. You lose him, whole different offensive identity. They haven't had a running back that can catch out of the backfield. That's filled. Now they've added Chase Edmonds, who's not really a threat to catch out of the backfield that much. So they don't really have the same
Javante also was explosive.
Well, look at where do they have their tight end's their most explosive player right now.
He's the most explosive player they got. That kid's legit.
Yeah.
When I first saw him, I was like, I have to have him.
Yeah, I saw on your roster. I saw that.
I must have him for mine.
Yeah, that and 87 running backs.
Yeah, because we see what the league is like.
Hawkinson getting swapped for a second and third rounder. Vikings just got so much better. The Ravens get better, adding Roquan Smith and trading away A.J. Clyde and then 2 draft picks. I don't even know who A.J. Clyde is, but I do know who Roquan Smith is. So
Yeah, A.J. Klein had a couple good seasons, especially with the New Orleans Saints. He's a high-volume tackler. He just can't cover.
all right, go to the Bears. That makes sense. Kadarius Toney going to the Chiefs. We already talked about that. Robert Quinn going to the Eagles. Jonathan Hankins going to the Cowboys. James Robinson going to the Jets is interesting because when Breece Hall comes back healthy, which one of the backs that are there now is going to be the expendable one? James Robinson or
They're going to keep Michael Carter.
Michael Carter?
Young.
Well, of course. I'm just saying.
Younger. Well, I would say the only thing, I don't know if James Robinson would be less expensive. I think he and Michael Carter actually came into the league together.
I just think that one of them is going to be used as trade fodder for next season. Depending on when Hall comes back.
So then I would think it would be James Robinson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting that they add him because it's really only for the rest of the season. And you see, without Breece Hall, who is an absolute rock star, that team is not. You can't really judge the Jets and Zach Wilson as a starting quarterback playing against the hoodie and New England. They won like 13 straight against the Jets. Like just
And this is very true, but also you see, without that threat of a home run hitter, a running back, someone to just pound, who's a danger not only running it but catching it. Now we put all the onus on Zach Wilson. And Zach did shit that he did last year. Like that nonchalant, oh, I'm trying to get rid of it, but not throwing it far enough away. Like, or trying to make a play, but just kind of flicking it out there and overthrowing your guy by 10 yards. You're just like, I mean, McCourty caught that second pick like a punt. He was just like waiting on it. Oh, thanks.
the one that he said he was trying to throw out of bounds. It was just like
come on, bro.
Really?
Stop
That was
it.
like 3 feet inbounds. Like,
Damn, did that cougar weigh you out last night? Come
like
on,
he
man.
he didn't even have to. Well, the interception, he didn't have to drag his feet.
Right, he didn't.
It wasn't like it was.
They reviewed it, but it was clear he caught it in bounds.
Yeah.
I was like,
100%. Christian McCaffrey going to the Niners is the biggest move.
That shit is crazy. That is bananas.
If he stays healthy, their whole season's different.
Yo.
Because now the pressure's not on Jimmy G. Now the best player on your team is that guy. And that's talking.
And it's not even close.
Yeah, that's with Kittle on your team.
That's with Debo on your team.
Yeah, Debo. Oh my God, Ayuk.
That's with Fred Warner on your team.
Fred Warner. Absolutely insane. They got so much better, and we will see because, every team is one injury away from being a completely different team.
Absolutely.
The Browns get Deion Jones from the Falcons. I picked off Tom Brady early in the Super Bowl, and as Tom dove for my feet, everyone thought his career was over, and then the rest of the game happened.
Sure.
I
mean, he's an LB with some juice, some speed.
It's just
had a
interesting.
couple injury issues.
Yes.
But I think also good for him getting out of Atlanta.
Well, it's funny because the Falcons trade away 2 defensive starters. The Falcons were actually the most active team in the last week of free agency because they had 2 players shipped out, and then they added 3 players shipped out. No, they added Calvin Ridley next year.
Which, it's funny that for all the moves that Atlanta's been making, they didn't add a legit running back. Akers there. Kareem Hunt there.
Kareem Hunt not moving was interesting.
Right. And so you're Atlanta, you have a wide receiver as your starting running back, and then one of your other running backs is a converted DB. And then these other two are rookies you just got. You know what Kareem Hunt could do. Cam Akers is young, and but we saw when he's healthy and motivated, that guy can go. You had a couple running backs out there that got juice, and you didn't choose to grab either one of them. And a good young running back to go with Pitts and Drake London, even if you're looking to not retain Mariota, at least you have your running back set, your tight end set, and your starting wide receiver set. You got the makings, you got the shell of a damn good offense. Now we just need a quarterback.
So,
and obviously offensive line.
With Hunt not moving anywhere, do you think that the Browns beating the Bengals changed the Browns' mind on movies? Do you think if the Browns lose that game that they go ahead and trade Hunt?
Well, when they put him in the game and then he had a game, I was like, wow, why would you play a guy who you're looking to move immediately like that? Because you know he could get hurt, anything like that. I was like, I guess they're looking to keep him.
Well, I think
I don't know what his contract situation is.
Also, what's the asking price? What do they want in return for Kareem Hunt? So you have to think that the Bills definitely made that phone call.
Well, I mean, I'm not giving Hunt up without a 1 or a 2 at least. You're not going to go below a 2, a second round.
It's going to be a second. Probably multiple, like a second, 2/3, and a conditional fourth or something crazy.
Right.
Like it's going to be a lot.
I would try to get a 1, but I would slip down to 2,
and
but then also a couple 2s and some 3s.
And you're going to have to take on his salary, which is not the highest, but it's not cheap either. Both of those running backs are paid.
Right.
So it was just interesting because you were looking at, the Rams need like a legit running back. They didn't make a move. The Bills did make a move, but not really for the one that they needed. Kareem Hunt would have been much better. So much better. But again, what do they want in return?
Because you get Kareem Hunt, you could have your little rookie running back. I'll give them Devin Singletary, Zach, multiple picks, whatever.
Because, listen, Kareem Hunt is just as good at catching the ball out of the backfield as Nyheim Hines. He might not be a better route runner, but he's an infinitely better runner.
Absolutely.
So you're gaining.
It's not even close.
You're gaining so. You guys got to remember, Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing before he.
So, and this is the thing. That's what he wants to remind people of. I am a legit 1. I'm a 1A on this team, and yes, I probably have extended my career by 3 years easily by just being in this situation alone for the past couple years. He doesn't even probably realize that now. But he wants to be a starter, and it would be great if he was. And there's so many places he could be.
Well, just think of like teams that are prime for like runs.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins are set because McDaniels got his 2 guys that he's had before, so they wouldn't have made that move anyway. The Vikings don't need any help. They got their 1-2 is pretty solid. The Cowboys 1-2 is actually flip that into new 1-2 and not Zeke as your 1. Let's be realistic here.
The Eagles have a stable of stallions.
The Eagles could have leveraged the stable for 1.
Sure.
And if that, that team's already outrageous. That team is already outrageous. The Chiefs definitely could have used a number 1, but they really have a nice 1-2 going right now with the 2 that they have, because those 2.
And also they got McKinnon, who's also that veteran presence. So.
Yeah, the Niners solved their problem that they've had a stable of running backs perpetually since Shanahan's been there. It's been just a revolving door. So, I mean...
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anyone... I mean, obviously...
The Ravens. They wouldn't have gone interdivision. But the Ravens really need...
Right. They would have never... Ravens and Browns trading...
And same thing with the Bengals, because the Bengals, Joe Mixon's pretty dope, but he's not like Kareem. Like, he's not late season dope.
Well, also, that line is trash.
Yes.
Line is trash.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't subject another player who's not.
Well, then you
already in
also
that
see
situation.
how dominant and how effective Chase is on a defense's game plan, because without Chase in the game, they got nothing going.
Right. Oh my God, it was so stark. It was.
Because with Chase, what you can do, a lot of Chase's big plays are get the ball to him immediately, and then he just makes something happen. It's like early Cheetah. Just get him the ball,
what
and he'll just
happened
break it.
Is that Joe had to hold it a little bit longer. They abandoned the run immediately. Joe had to hold it longer, and then, I mean, I guess they don't remember Myles Garrett pre-Rona was a defensive player of the year candidate. Then he got Rona, and then it diminished him. But this is a brand new year, and this ain't Myles Garrett from last year. So he's coming, and yeah, they were very successful last night.
All right, so let's talk about some more successful things. Let's run through this week's action. Thursday night football. You know, I just believe in Tom. It's Tom. I should stop believing in Tom. It's hard for me not to.
This one was an easy one for me, but I was like, Baltimore's going to win this. I know
It's just the
I know
Ravens.
Tampa needed to, but so did Baltimore.
Yeah, but the Baltimore's defense is so terrible this year that I thought Tampa might be able to make something happen, but they just don't have it right now. They do not have it.
And especially you tell me Shaq Barrett was done too.
Oh,
hell nah.
so, I mean,
Nope.
I called it early in the season. I called it. I said it looks like Tampa is going to be the team that hits the injury bug this year, and that sucks because Tom came back for this. This is football karma. Mad at Tom because they gave him everything he could have ever wanted, and he came back for more. And they were like, motherfucker, we had a deal.
Oh, it wasn't just football karma. It was life karma.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Patriots over the Jets. We talked about that. I switched it because Max started, and I like Zappy Hour. It's fun.
No, I love
It's so much fun.
I do too. I
We
admit
should
it,
have
man.
we should have known better. This is like
30 and the consecutive wins is just like should have known. Should have
that quarterback against that defensive mind. Are you kidding me?
should have known.
Without Brees Hall to break the game open from just handing it to him. Ah, come on. And honestly, Patriots backfield outside of the Browns, probably the best tandem in football when they're both.
Even though Ramondre, it's the Ramondre show.
Yeah, it's not really a tandem anymore. He has taken over, but Harris is a dope running back.
He is, but they using him like Corey Dillon. I was like, oh, okay, I see you.
Yeah,
That's what's
Ramonde is.
I told you that cat coming out of. I was like, oh, y'all got Ramondre Stevenson. That cat was a beast at Oklahoma. He just missed some games.
Yeah, he's a stud. So Broncos and Jags. Jags lose a home game.
They lost the home game.
I know we all picked them just because it was London.
Yeah. And actually, let's keep it funky.
They should have
won that.
They should have
game.
fucking won this game.
Trevor Lawrence has to know you cannot throw that ball. Like you can't do that. You cannot do that.
Yeah, they're just they haven't really taken a step forward that we all expected.
Right.
Even if
I'm
they
talking about the ball in the end zone where it got picked. But then the other one, you have to know you got to throw it outside. I mean, it was raining. I thought the game plan was a little off.
Well, Etienne has become an absolute stud.
Yes.
Absolute stud. So I made James Robinson they didn't like James Robinson there anyway. So I mean, the Jags do have a solid young core, a couple defensive players, a couple offensive players to build off of. But they have just not taken a step forward yet that we expected. Even if they go on a run through the second half of the season, the best they could finish up is like 500. So it's just like, kind of, but not really, because all I'm going to remember is just them getting absolutely destroyed for like 4 weeks in a row, and then they just lost to this team.
I know.
How you lose to this Broncos team where everyone hates Russ? The rumors of him working out in the plane aisle as they're flying over to London
Doing high knees and shit.
while everyone else is asleep.
Sleeping. And then didn't he video it? It was like, oh, I'm getting it in.
Yeah,
Everybody's
he's
asleep, but I'm high knees.
Russ has become a character. He's being whatever he thinks everybody wants.
No, I'm wondering if, okay, so football is football, and that's one thing, and that sort of celebrity is separate from celebrity like singers, actors, shit like that. But he's been in the singer actor celebrity world for quite a while now, and there's a lot of football players that are like, yeah, Russ is Hollywood now. Like that dude was cool, but he's another thing now. And I think that's what we see now. He has handlers and all this other shit. You can't get near him anymore. And that's the weird, so he's still trying to portray team guy, hey, I love everyone. But then you got all these handlers and you got to go through multiple people to get to him now in their own facility. So,
well, Beast Mode and Richard Sherman both said that they had to go through his team to even reach him by phone.
So that shit always been going on, huh?
Always.
It just even got worse.
Yeah, he's so full of himself. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's
watching him,
really sad too.
Watching him is like.
I rocked with that guy.
Yeah, it can't be real. It can't be real.
Yeah.
This Panthers game, dude.
Listen, I had that right. Panthers win that game.
Twice.
I had that shit right. That pissed me off.
Me too.
I fine DJ Moore $25K. I tell him if he takes his helmet off again in that situation, you are in the streets, my friend.
Terry McLaurin took off his helmet after catching the ball at the 1 to set them up for the game-winning drive, and there was no flag, no penalty, nothing.
No flag.
This guy literally, on a Hail Mary, which traveled 70 yards in the air. Let's not discount how far he actually threw it.
Listen,
and there's no time left on the clock. So technically, if he took his helmet off,
it was the end of regulation.
It was the end of regulation. I just don't understand. It seems like these rules like this in the NFL there's no consistency in their enforcement.
Well, obviously, just like the roughing the passer. Tom got that incredibly egregious call, but then you see Justin Fields get smacked in the mouth. Nothing. No call.
Yeah. Sandwich, which is illegal. Low, high. Pooping.
It's a good thing he did not get injured for the season.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but I don't understand. Even if I go back to my youth when everything was about me, I don't understand the need to take off your helmet.
Me neither. Like, you just did it. What I would do is like, where my teammates at? Like, I don't give a shit about that crowd. Where my teammates at? Yo, let's kick it and win and get out of here. We in Atlanta. Let's kick it and get out of here. We celebrate later.
Yeah, like there is no celebration. This was a miracle. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out.
The second that there was a flag thrown, you knew 1,000,000,000% they were missing that field goal. Guaranteed.
Not making that kick.
Absolutely was never going to happen.
Not gonna make that kick. I didn't even watch anymore. I was like, oh, this game's over. Atlanta's winning. I didn't even know about the second time they could have won the game until highlights later. I already said Atlanta was winning. I was like, oh, Atlanta's going to win this game.
So Atlanta is the team this year that's just going to win arbitrary games and somehow like sneak into the playoffs, and they don't deserve to be there.
So now they're winning those games that they would give up when Matthew Ice Cream was there.
Yeah. Interesting because that game, dude.
Ridiculous. Deontay Foreman got Bizang again. Like,
yeah, I had
he deserves to be a starting RB.
I won one of my daily fantasy rooms this week because I had Foreman and Pollard as my running backs. I had a player who put up 0. I think it was Van Jefferson. I was just like, oh, he's back. Matty Gunslinger might throw it to his guy. Nah, not gonna happen.
No, his guy is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, well,
the only way other receivers on that
Schwarzenegger. Sports.
The only
Schwarzenegger.
the only way other cats aside from them two are gonna see any sort of targets is if Cooper is out. I know. Listen, when Allen Robinson saw Cooper Cup down, and this is not him even being fouled, a piece of him is like, shit, now I'm finally going to get the shine. Oh, hold up. How's Cooper doing? You know, there's a piece that's just like, oh,
Damn, I'm about to get more than 3
now
targets.
It's my time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but when you're that good and you're like, yeah, they just not throwing me the rock. Just like Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson. Elijah Moore makes a point. He's not the only one. Denzel Mims is like, yo, why am I here? You're not even throwing me the rock. So you got 2 cats on that team that feel this way. But you know who's not complaining? Tyler Conklin. I was telling people, I was like, yo, if you could pick up Tyler Conklin, you should get that guy. I was like, Zach Wilson loves that guy. And Tyler Conklin is game. And obviously, we see what Garrett Wilson could do just when they get him involved. And now that Breece Hall is out.
Do you think that any of the players are smart enough and mature enough to go in and be like, all right, I understand what we're put it judiciously, what we're capable of on offense. So I think you need to put me in these types of positions so that I can work it within this offense, because Zach Wilson is limited. So it's not like you're going to come out and have that kid throw 50 times a game.
Sure.
So Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore and everybody complaining about their lack of targets, they're not going to throw it more than 12 times a game. That's just who they are. So,
but you have to look at it from their perspective.
I do.
From their perspective, they're like, you drafted me.
I get
so
that, but
this offense could go this way.
Do you think
up?
Do you think any of them are ever like, God damn, man, this kid is not going to be able to get me the rock? But
They looking at it like this is a passing league, and quarterbacks average 35 to 45 passes a game, and I'm stuck with this guy at quarterback, and the only reason why we win is because we have a stud running back. Once he's gone, let's think of when they didn't have him last year. Denzel Mims is still on that team. Elijah Moore is still on that team. Elijah Moore got more targets last year, yeah, but then Zach got hurt. Now you got Flacco. They were loving Flacco. All the receivers love Flacco.
yeah, he will chuck it downfield.
Flacco gonna get you that rock, baby. He don't give a damn. So they love it when Flacco is there, but they're looking at him. They're like, damn, this guy again. Damn.
Yeah,
I ain't
like
never gonna see the rock.
the Broncos receivers look at Russ. Cowboys destroy the Bears. The Bears actually perform better than you would have expected in this game, at least on offense. The Cowboys just Pollard had him a banner day. They're just better than the Bears. They're just a better team.
But you know what though? And things just broke right for them. Because really, if you really break that down, that game could have been a whole hell of a lot closer.
It could have, but
and
the Cowboys have Micah Parsons.
this is also true, and who has big time awareness, and Justin Fields, baby, you just gotta touch him. Like, why are you jumping over someone who's not your teammate?
So
You gotta touch him up.
So this goes to, as a quarterback, you should know, because you are responsible when you turn the ball over to possibly have to make sure that the defender is still not running anymore, right? So go back to Malcolm Butler against the Seahawks. 3 plays before the interception on the go route to where, was it Doug Baldwin?
No. It's the other one. The other light skin. It'll come to me.
No, not Curse.
Curse.
Yeah, Curse.
Yeah.
So when Curse caught that ball, Malcolm Butler actually jumped over him.
Yes.
But when he landed, reached back and made sure that he went and made the play, right?
Yeah. Because that would have been a touchdown, and then.
Well, I mean, it's funny because had he, instead of jumping, ran through Curse on the ground, he disrupts the catch. But even though he jumped over them, he was aware enough to make the play anyway, instead of continuing with his momentum out of bounds to where Curse could have got up like a dude from Green Bay did. all those years ago, right? So, and then
Antonio Freeman.
So the football gods pay Malcolm Butler back by him having to pick at the goal line
Absolutely.
2 plays later.
They're like, you were smart.
Yeah.
You deserve this.
You deserve this. You played this correctly. That's how it works. Yeah, Micah Parsons, absolute game record, dude. Just
Trust me, I'm disgusted. Between Parsons and Fields, one of them should have been in a Giants uniform. But anyway,
I mean, Parsons is just.
Parsons, I mean, like, that was such a...
This is a generational talent. We haven't seen
so
this
easy. No.
since LT.
Yeah.
Dolphins are the better team, and they beat the worst team, even though the worst team absolutely ran out in front of them.
They did.
At one point, they were down 17, and it was just looking like the Lions were going to do whatever they absolutely wanted it to do. And then Tua just started doing what the Dolphins do. Tyreek had like 200 yards. Jalen Waddle had 2 touchdowns. Gesicki
Also,
scoring.
Yeah. And anytime Gesicki scores, you might as well mark that down as a win. Because when Gesicki gets in the game, that means they are throwing.
Well, they were
And-
down, and also both of these running backs, neither of them cracked 50 yards.
Right. But when they're throwing like that, guess what happens? No one can cover both Tyreek and Waddle and Gesicki all at once. It's just not happening.
It's
Just
impossible.
Like I said, who you going to double team? You can't.
Well, you have to
Someone
double
can
team Tyreek because he's just that fast that you have to have
So
a
that-
safety play
Waddle
deep.
and Gesicki.
And that's why Waddle eats so much, is he gets one-on-ones and he's just too fast for your second
That's why
quarter.
Waddle was a no-brainer to pick. I mean, because you couldn't even get Tyreek unless you had like the top 5 picks.
Yeah, so the Lions are the Lions, and now they get rid of Hawkinson. They are 1-6. They know their year is over already. Motor City Dan will be lucky if he gets another year at the helm. He probably will.
They endorsed him recently.
They
Real recent.
they should. For some reason, it's just not. Look, they only lost by 4. They're not getting blown out outside the Patriots game, who blanked them. They keep losing like this.
Well, they fired the defensive backs coach, which is a tough firing after a Miami game when you literally have the 2 fastest receivers in the league. That's a tough firing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to change everything for them. Their season's going to turn around now. The secondary, the secondary room meetings are going to be different now. So
Somebody had to get fired though. That's when you're
No,
head
I
coach
know.
is
I'm
on
just-
the hot seat.
it's
you
just
already
funny
know.
because it's just like, oh, that's going to change everything.
When the head coach is on the hot seat though, and it's like that just happened, like I gotta fire one. You know that because I gotta keep my job.
Vikings over the Cardinals,
That was
pretty predictable, and D-Hop, unstoppable. That guy is
That
incredible.
one-handed catch was just stupid.
So when everybody talks about like the best receiver in the league, well, I mean, he was just on. He wasn't playing football for the first couple of weeks because it's clearly that guy.
His hands are phenomenal.
Yeah, just him and Michael Thomas just don't drop anything. But D-Hop makes harder catches than Michael Thomas does, by far.
And also, like, he'll press you deep. He'll give you intermediate. He'll give you all the routes.
No, this is the best receiver in football as a total. If you count his ability to catch the football, especially in a crowd of humans, because he is and will go get game-winning balls.
With his grippers.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
just incredible. Saints blew out the fucking Raiders. They didn't even show up.
Which, okay, I went Raiders on this one.
Yeah, I did too. They were playing well.
They were playing well, and I mean, it's been disarray in New Orleans. If we gonna keep it funky, the defense hasn't looked good, and then you got Red Rockets starting over Jameis like that. The quarterback situation is ridiculous. Then there was no Jarvis, no Michael Thomas. I didn't. Alvin Kamara's been dinged up, but you didn't really know what that was. So I was like, okay, so you have Alvin, you got Red Rocket.
No,
and
the
it's
Raiders
struggling
on
defense.
both sides of the ball didn't show up.
The Raiders, shit, what a. The only thing that
No,
made
there's
me
nothing.
think, that was one of the games I switched. I was like, damn, Saints will be at home, and that's a hard place to win.
I needed
And-
Devontae Adams to breathe 4 times in that game, and I would have won in my other
When
league.
I found out that Devontae was actually going to play, I said, okay, yeah, I'm going to go with Vegas.
I just figured
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs going to get busy. That's how they win. Feed him the ball. I saw Marshawn Lattimore was out of the game. I was like, oh. That's when I switched mine. I saw Lattimore was out. I'm like, oh.
That's what I'm saying. And Devontae's playing. What? They did. You
They
don't
did
get
nothing.
1 point. You didn't even go petty field goal like other teams do. I'm
Kerry.
gonna get this petty field goal so I don't get shut out.
They didn't reach New Orleans' side of the field until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They didn't even cross the 50
I didn't even
once
see that. Wow. That
until the last drive of the game, and they still didn't score.
what?
Yeah. One trip across the 50 the entire game. They literally didn't show up at all. It was
This is-
astonishing.
And see, this is what makes people say that Carr is trash. We know better, but then there'll be performances like this. I got a question. How?
See, this is what's funny, all right? So you're right. This is why people don't like Carr, because at least Matthew Stafford, when he does this, when he goes and lays an egg, it's because he throws 4 picks. He
Right.
still has 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Sure. So he's trying.
Yes. When Carr does it, it looks like this.
He has 116 passing yards or some stupid shit like
You
that.
have Devontae Adams on your team, and you had 100 yards for the game?
What? That dude, I started him. I miraculously won. I think that was against you. But only because it was a tight one. It was because of T. Higgins, that touchdown at the end. Thanks, T. That's my guy. But he scored 1 or 2 points.
2 carry. I lost
The quarterback position.
2 out of 3 matches in the 3 leagues that I'm in because of Devontae Adams scoring 2 points. If
Well,
he would have,
I'm talking about Derek Carr.
yeah,
Derek
Devontae,
Carr scored 2 points.
yeah,
also.
Devontae scored 1.6. At one point through the first half, he had negative 1 points. It was looking great. I lost by 1 point to you. Thanks. And I lost by 6 in the NFL league. And since Javonte Williams has gotten hurt, I have lost 4 straight. This happened to me last year when Derrick Henry got hurt. I lost.
Long season.
I know, but I have, and Kerry, I've lost them all by single digits. 4, 6, 6.
Okay, in the NFL league, I did get this victory too, so I'm stacking now. It's my second one in a row. I also hit the waiver wire, and I'm taking care of some things, tightening up, and now, even though I was looking bad, I'm second in the league right now. Just like,
I mean, I'm only 1 game back, but it's just like I was 4-1.
right.
I have gone on a losing streak.
But I feel like this is that year for that.
Yo, I
In
can't-
real football and fantasy.
I can't
football.
find a number 2 running back that does anything. Every single one that I pick up, for some reason, they just don't use Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards. Who did I get? Oh, fucking Robinson. Oh, all of a sudden Antonio Gibson gets fucking 20-some points, and Robinson gets 2 this week, when he's been the lead running back for the last 3 weeks in a row.
So I'm so glad I didn't panic on Gibson, because then now Gibson is taking more of J.D. McKissick. He's taking a combination of Robinson's and J.D. McKissick's touches. So he's in this weird middle Jan situation where he's going to get the best of both worlds. And now that you have Taylor Heineke, who loves Gibson because that was his running back when he was the starter, Taylor Heineke's going to make sure his guy eats.
Yeah,
So
I'm going to
people
make
don't
sure.
know. That's why Terry McLaurin is getting more rocks now.
Yeah, and we'll get more rocks in 45 seconds. I swear to God, as we go along, they seem quicker.
Mm-hmm.
That's Zoom fucking with us, trying to make me subscribe. I won't do it. Unknown, what up, homie? Yo, I am glad that you are seeing a little bit of the light and not so engulfed by the shadows, if you may. Ooh. Larry Bird, what up, homie? Man, I hope whoever your team is got better in this last day of free agency, because there were moves like it was the NBA. It makes it fun, though. It makes it fun, I guess. There's a lot of parity in the NFL. That's the goal, but what has happened, instead of there being parity across the league, it has allowed there to be elite teams and then parity amongst everyone else, because everyone else is pretty much trash. Yo, the NFL's goal of parity was kind of backfired. Because you do have parity across the league, but across, if you remove the 4 teams that are championship worthy, everyone else is garbage. So there is parity amongst the non-elite teams. Like the 4 to 6 teams that are elite are so much better than the rest of these football teams. Like the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Vikings this year, Giants, Seahawks, lower half elite teams, but this year they are elite
49ers.
level. 49ers now, we're going to see them go on a run. You know, and watch the Titans out of nowhere just do what they constantly do. They got that guy back there.
Listen, Malik Willis getting in at quarterback was the best thing to happen for them, because straight up, and that was a goof on my part. I was like, let's see if it'll be a little better quarterback play on Houston's side, and if they can take advantage of the rookie. No, this is Vrabel just being smarter than other coaches. Like, I'm gonna run 40 times today.
So Kerry, the last 5 games against Houston, Derrick Henry has 892 yards.
I fucked that one up.
That's why I was wondering. I was just like, dude, he averages like 220 against them.
I know.
Averages.
And that was one of the games. I was like.
I don't care who plays quarterback. He's going to get 200, score a couple touchdowns, and then Houston's going to find a way to not play good football, because that's what they do. Plus, Tennessee's defense is pretty solid, so you remove Pierce out of the game plan, and then what do you get from Houston? They do have probably the best tight end room in football if you look as a total, because their 3rd tight end is now their number 1 tight end. And he's fucking dope. But they just don't have like real wide receivers. I know Brandon Cooks is there. I'm surprised he didn't get traded.
Well, guess who was looking at
Green Bay should have been looking at him.
Dallas, and they were close to a deal, but apparently some of the verbiage was off. So
interesting
on draft capital. Now Brandon Cooks, and they also would have had to pony up on the rest of the $18 million that, well, next year that's owed to Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Jerry Jones didn't make that move.
Well, here's the thing. Amari Cooper wanted to resign for 20. You see what he's doing in Cleveland. So you're telling me the Cowboys would have really played themselves heavily if they would have grabbed Brandon Cooks and had to pay him 18 when you let Amari Cooper walk, and he's just getting 20, just $2 million more.
Yeah, but you
Because
could.
even though we did talk shit about him, Amari Cooper seems motivated now, and he's getting busy.
Yeah.
Like he's getting busy with our guy Briskets.
No, he's having an all-pro level year right now. It's just you got like fucking Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp, so good luck on being all-pro, honestly, because these
True.
guys
I
are
mean,
going to put up fucking retarded numbers.
I mean, absolutely, no doubt.
And now Hopkins is back, and watch what he's going to do the rest of this season.
All I'm saying is like Cooks, Cooper.
Yeah,
Not
100%,
even
100%.
close.
But you could move Cooks inside and replace what Cole Beasley was, but a huge upgrade because you can also have him run seam routes and get pressure the safeties and whatnot. So it would have been a good fit. I'm surprised Jerry didn't go for it. Raiders, we talked about that one. Eagles and Steelers, the A.J. Brown, are you fucking kidding me? That was a grown man playing against children out there. He deboed them on multiple go routes. He's the first NFL player to score 3 touchdowns in one game, all on go routes.
It was so funny. First of all, if you're allowed to celebrate, there's a fine line, but this fine line between celebration and taunting. Look, if I just caught a dunk, if I just caught the rock between two people, if I just scored a goal between two people, the defender and the goalie, I'm going to be like, 1, 2, got him. That's not even taunting. That's reality.
Kerry.
I just busted your ass, and I just busted your ass.
It was-
They shouldn't have thrown a flag on that.
It was
that
the
hilarious.
It was the third one too. The refs should have been like, dude, he is killing y'all out here today.
They should have just been like, that's all they should have done. They should have golf clapped and kept it moving.
And they both
That was
they
ridiculous.
both ran into each other and fell down. It was a perfect celebration. Got you.
He could have had
And I got
another
you.
one. He could have had another one.
He got
If
caught.
If
Yeah.
Minka didn't catch his foot,
That's why
he's
he.
housing that one.
That's why he had to debo him on that third one and had to point at him.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, when you're up by 50 points, who cares if you get that penalty? Sirianni didn't care. Like whatever. This,
I think he cared more that Jason Kelsey was wearing a Batman mask. fat Batman, representing Fat Batman.
Fat man. Titans over the Texans, kind of easy. We already talked about it. Derrick Henry. Come on, dude. And the Texans just aren't any good. They just aren't any good. Commanders over the Colts.
That was an easy one.
Yes,
for me.
it was because they play better with Heineke. And
They do.
the Commanders playing with Heineke is something that they've been through a whole season of. And Ellinger, this was one.
Yep.
So this was easy, even though the Colts were more competitive.
They were game.
But the Commanders just aren't really that good. So easy to be game. They still just aren't running the football effectively. It doesn't make any fucking sense. They still don't use both 6'7" tight ends at the same time. This shit doesn't make any sense. The coaching's terrible in there. 49ers and Rams. Yeah, now we know what this 49ers team is.
Also, I played my own self. I literally said that Shanahan beats. He just beats McVay. He does.
Yeah,
he
that's-
just beats him in the regular season. He just does. And I went against it because I was like, well, yeah, I felt like I didn't know all the defender, not all, but like some key defenders from San Francisco came back. And then I was like, I wonder how much McCaffrey's going to be a part of the game plan. Oh, you're going to be the whole game plan.
None of that
Whoops.
mattered.
Got it.
McVay can't beat Shanahan. It's disgusting.
Can't do it. You can't do it.
Seahawks over the Giants. We talked about this one. This was primed to happen. Cross country trip.
Unfortunately, this was easy too.
Yeah, hostile environment. Geno's playing excellent. The
Yes.
Seahawks defense is getting better. The Giants were primed for this. This was bound to happen. They had to fall off of that peak a little bit
Agreed.
and gain some perspective. Still, very solid football team. Hopefully this just readjusts them to get back to weeks 1 through 4's game plan and whatnot, and continue with this. I don't like when teams evolve past. Oh, we're 6-1 right now. this is awesome. We're doing,
You start smelling themselves.
yeah,
and
whatever
they
we
start
do
getting
is
out of
going to
pocket.
work. And, like, just, no, you have to go through Saquon. You have to limit Danny Dum-Dum's ability to make mistakes and turnovers.
And let me actually say this: our special teams let us down big time. Richie James, former 49er, fucking shat the bed, and then he got hurt. Well, I'll say this: he got the first return he had was really nice, and the Giants moving in a positive direction, and then there was a penalty, knocked us all the way back to the 20, then 3 and out, gave the ball up, Seattle scores again. You don't get that penalty. Our special teams is trash, and just beyond returner, just the special teams unit outside of Graham Gano. The blocking is off. We can't return kickoffs or punts, but it was especially bad this week. Fumbling, you just can't have that. The offense wasn't as terrible, and Danny wasn't as terrible, but you can't give Danny on the Seattle 40, yes, let's go, and then knock us back to the Giants 20.
Well,
And
you
then-
also can't expect Danny Fumbles to go toe-to-toe with the number one scoring offense in the league, essentially, which the Seahawks kind of are.
Yeah, they are.
So-
we gotta put up all these points, and then and then our defense did take a step back. It looked like Leonard Williams rushed to come back because he was getting hurt every other damn play.
Yeah,
I was
that
like, well, why is
changed.
he out there?
Yeah,
Why is he out there then?
that really disrupted what you guys were doing, because I did have this game up, watching it
Yeah.
and listening
Yeah.
to another one. But yeah, the Seahawks, you're going to have to match points with them if you play them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just with Geno is playing so well, and they're actually utilizing everything that they have. So,
Also, DK Metcalf, miraculous recovery much?
well,
It looked like you were gonna miss multiple weeks, and you were like, "Nah, I'm gonna play next week."
that's Wolverine, dude. He's not human.
Fuck.
He's not human.
The fuck.
Yeah, I don't know how he was out there.
He's not
like-
gonna play. Oh shit, he playing?
Yeah. Bills over the Packers. The line was set at 10.5. Should have known that it was going to be closer because the Packers were basically playing for their season.
Yeah.
Should have known. And, the Bills aren't going to put up 60 on everybody. And honestly, the Packers have the number one pass defense in football.
And yeah, and also,
But this is
If-
like, they're just like,
if the Bills had like a legit running game, yeah, they would have ran it up on.
well, like this is the Bills in the layup line right now. They're just getting warmed
It
up for the
was.
real game.
They are.
You know?
But let's keep it funky. If Josh Allen would have targeted Stephon Diggs 15 times, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Bengals and Browns, this was kind of a surprise, but this is what happens with Chase at the end of the game. The Browns defense played well.
But let me
Considering that the Bengals didn't score until the end of the fourth quarter, and it was really a blowout.
It was.
Well, this is what happens. See, this is what happens, Kerry, with the Browns, because I got Chubb on my fantasy squad. I'm all about the Browns. When the Browns aren't behind 14, 17 points early and just abandon who they are. This is the difference.
The Browns need to be more steadfast, like the Titans in that regard, though, because you have motherfucking Chubb Rock
And Hunt.
on your squad. And Hunt. Right. If there's any team designed to be able to come from behind via the run, it's them. Even over the Titans.
Yeah, because
So,
both of them can hit a big run on you. Both of
Either
them
one.
can hit.
Even your third string.
This is what blows my mind about this team, because if they get down by double digits, 10 points,
Yeah.
even if
They
it's
panic.
just early in the second quarter,
They panic.
abandoned game plan, we got to catch up now, because our defense, we haven't been able to score, but our defense also gave up points, so are we going to be able to stop them? Oh my God, it's just stupid.
Which is so counterintuitive,
Yeah.
because if your defense just gave up points, what you want to do is give them more time to sit their ass down. So you run the rock. You don't go 3 and outs and then bring them right back out on the field again. Furthermore, here's another thing that we really didn't look at. So just like the Jets haven't beat New England in 13 tries, Joey Boyband has not defeated the Browns in now 5 straight tries.
Now we know.
We hadn't even looked at that fact, and I didn't even think about it. And then I thought less about. I was like, they should still get it, even with Jamar out, but not really realizing how motivated like a Myles Garrett at the defensive line was going to be to not have that happen.
Well, also, if you look at their division, which we're about this, that was it for the slate. So we're going to look at the division leaders, technically at the halfway point. A lot of the teams have played 8 games. Technically, this is the halfway point. So AFC East, come on, the Bills. Surprisingly, the AFC East, everybody's 500 and up. We saw the Jets get out to an early start. The Dolphins were 3-0, lost 3 in a row, and now have won 2 straight. So they're undefeated with Tua as the starter, who has the highest QBR in the league this year. And you see how important he is. So Tua has to be at least in the MVP discussion with what's been for the first half, with what's been developing. And then the Patriots have slugged out a 4-4 start.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Bill Belichick for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Even I'm like...
And then also not being cute with the running game. Ramondre's getting busy. Ramondre's getting the rock.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, stop being cute with the running backs.
No,
he's getting busy. Give him the damn
He's
rock.
getting busy, and then Matthew Judon is having a Defensive Player of the Year campaign so far.
Yeah, and also, who's the quarterback turned receiver again? And who's finally figured it out?
Oh, Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers. Oh yeah.
Yes, better and better every dude. He literally every single game.
By the game.
Yeah, you see the improvement in game by game. You know,
he almost had him too. In that game.
I feel like maybe they'll start using the tight ends just in the game plan. You got them. I don't know. It's all about Stevenson and playing solid defense.
You have to be able to get Hunter Henry.
I know. It pisses me off, dude. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry.
Jonnu Smith. Especially if you're struggling with your X and your Y's.
We gave all of that fucking money to get the 2 tight end system back, baby Gronk and baby Aaron over here, and we're not using it. But like you said, if it works, Bill's using it, and Stevenson's getting busy this year, and we have slugged out a 4-4 start, which is hilarious because we don't look like a 500 football team right now. AFC North, interesting because nobody's really running away with it, even though Baltimore's 5-3. They just don't look that good on the field. They don't pass the test, right? So the Bengals, can they make a run? The Browns, can they hang around until Deshaun comes back?
Also, will Deshaun coming back fuck up their chemistry?
It depends on if they keep winning despite briskets.
Well, the thing is when he's at, because I think he's back in the building again.
Yeah.
Right? But he's not getting first team snaps. So when is he gonna start?
Yeah, but I bet you he's cooking their starting defense in practice.
Oh, sure. Which can only help them get better.
No, I know, but I bet you they're just like, God damn, he's really fucking good.
Yeah,
Shit.
Yeah, true. So it's just like, like how long will he get? How many, plays? How much practice time will he get with the ones before they get him?
I don't think they're going to be able to hang around anyway. To be honest with you, Steelers 2-6. It's going to be a miracle for them to catch 500 for Tomlin. I don't think it's happening this year.
Yeah, I think this is going to be his first one.
They do have a pretty favorable schedule through the second half, but they just don't look that good. Plus, Kenny Pickett, when he is in, late game picks.
Well, also, Minka is doing all that he can. You really miss TJ. And,
100%. I'm telling you, if you watched that game and saw what A.J. Brown did to them, they have to go look at themselves in the mirror before they get ready to suit up this week. It was.
I'm sure Ryan Shazier's on that sideline is like, you motherfucker. Like, I can barely walk. and I want to suit up right now.
Rod Woodson probably went and got his fucking jersey out, man.
You know what I'm saying? Greg Lloyd is like, what? What is happening?
Levon Kirkland. So everybody was coming back.
Straight up.
Like, the amount of Steelers defensive legends that were waiting for them in the locker room after that game.
Me and Joe Green said, fuck all these Colts. Man, I need to give me another sack.
That shit is wild. AFC South, Tennessee is going to win this division, as we all assume they would, because this is just what Vrabel does. They are 5-2 somehow, and the Colts just aren't who their roster says that they should be. We thought by getting rid of Carl Wentz, not adding Matty Ice Cream, by getting rid of Carl Wentz, that this was the solution. They're not good at football. It's really gross. The Chiefs and Chargers are only separated by one game, and the Raiders are the most disappointing team in football. Everyone knows that Russ is a fraud, so it's up to the Chargers to try to catch the Chiefs, but it's not going to happen because the Chargers know how to blow things late, and the Chiefs are really fun to watch. They are
Also,
really
the
fun
Chargers
to watch.
They're
injured galore.
They are right there with Tampa Bay for being the most. I mean, and also Giants up there too. We're decimated. But like, yeah, you lose key offensive linemen. Your receiving room is
DNs,
tatters,
corners,
DNs, corners,
center.
Your quarterback himself is gutting it out.
Broken ribs.
He is gutting this bitch out.
Yeah, he's just, every single time I watch any of it, it just becomes more and more impressive because he's working with even less this year than ever before, because no Keenan Allen for basically the entire fucking season. Now no Mike Williams.
Keenan Allen's backup, Palmer, out.
Yeah,
now
just...
You're looking at Austin Eckler and your tight ends, like, and your fourth string receivers, like, okay.
Guys got to do something. Got to do something. Next man up. NFC Eagles, best team in football as a total. Sure. They have everything. And they're so good at everything.
Zero weaknesses.
Yeah, Cowboys and Giants both at 6-2, and the Commanders somehow at 4-4. So the NFC East is back, baby.
Back, baby.
Yeah. Late season NFC.
Of course, the NFC East would be back.
The 1 year you guys get good, right? I love it. This makes late season NFC East football is always fun, though, especially when it matters.
The most compelling.
Yeah, it's because it's the weather turns to late season football weather. It's just perfect. NFC North. Got to be surprised that the Vikings are basically running away with this shit right now because the rest of this division sucks. NFC South, literally anybody could win this, even Carolina.
I know. And let me tell you, PJ Walker, listen.
That throw, dude.
They're not losing games because of PJ Walker. No. Let's be clear about this. Now they found their new starter in Deontay Foreman. I don't know what Chubb is going to do, but they found their new legit starter, Deontay Foreman, who many argue should have continued to play in Tennessee in that playoff game against Cincinnati, and then they win that game. But anyway, you have a quarterback who is not making mistake. Like, he'll make a mistake, but he won't make the same mistake twice, and he has enough athleticism to make some key runs. And you see how game he was. He was like, no, I'm not dinking and dunking. We need a touchdown. I'm going to get it. And he needed enough, and he put enough on that rock. I mean, listen, deep ball throwers in this league, they're hard to find. 70
yards game.
Come on. That's practiced. That's a thing he can do. That's just not something that was just accidental. That's
so out of all the teams in this terrible division, you would expect Tom Brady to be the one to put things together, but I actually don't see it that way. I look at the Saints being the ones who make a late season run to capture this division, probably, and the Falcons folding farther on.
I would say the Saints, out of everyone in that division, have the most stable defense.
Well,
and the least injured.
and they are the healthiest, and the more games you get with the Red Rifle at quarterback, the more acclimated everyone is to this is what we do, this is who we are. So I can see that happening.
And I think he puts games together, and like he'll keep you in some stuff, and he'll make a couple throws that you're like, damn, he gave the receiver a chance because he had AJ Green for so long. He would just pop it up to him like, hey, you go get it. So listen, Chris Olave is still getting his targets.
They're using Taysom all over the field still.
That's what Red Rifle will do. He's like, oh, Chris Olave's really good. I'm gonna get him the rock. Yeah, Taysom. They use Taysom in a multitude of ways, and Alvin Kamara, like the most important player on that field, is back.
Yeah,
So,
he's healthy. He's unstoppable. NFC West will be an interesting showdown between the Niners and Seahawks to see if the Seahawks can
Big time.
continue this Cinderella run, because
That'll be their litmus test.
we all see what's happening in San Francisco over the last few games.
And
We
I
know what's
think-
coming with that team.
I think this is when Gino is back to life. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Back to Geno, God.
Yeah,
You're right. All right, let's look at some season leaders through the halfway point. Joey Boyband leading the league in passing. Tom Brady surprisingly in second. How? And he's only like 50 yards behind Joey Boy. How? Garbage time numbers. Lots of garbage. Lots of 300-yard passing games of empty calories. I would know, but I've watched every single snap of them, homie. It's been
Oh
ugly.
yeah, because when they lost to Atlanta, I think he had over 300 some yards passing.
Yeah, it's just been Matthew Stafford numbers. Defensive leader Roquan Smith leading the league in tackles and goes to
does.
Baltimore.
That's what he does.
Sack leader Zadarius Smith goes from Green Bay to Minnesota.
Oh,
And now look at how Minnesota is playing, and look how Green Bay is playing.
it's on Minnesota. That's huge.
Yeah, he's leading the league in sacks, 8.5.
Let me
Him,
tell you, that guy is a difference maker. He is. He's like one of the least talked about, but when you have the Smith brothers in Green Bay,
That's what I'm saying.
They kept going to the NFC Championship game.
That's what I'm saying. This is probably the most under the radar move as far as on field difference for both teams.
Because he also takes all the pressure off Danielle Hunter. So now Danielle Hunter
Looks like he's reemerged, you know. So it's
but that's the Zadarius Smith effect. That's a great call.
yeah. So Nick Chubb lead the league in rushing, but I am willing to guess that by the end of the year that Henry will lead the league in rushing because he's going to have multiple 200-yard games down
Well,
the
you know
stretch.
my guy Chubb Rock, even though you snagged him from me, bastard. You know that's my guy. But yeah, King Henry is looking stronger than ever. Those off-season workouts get more incredible by
It's good to see Saquon in the top in this list. Chubb, Saquon, and Henry, and then Jacobs.
So
You know, and then you got Kenneth
Look at
Walker,
that.
who's having a good year,
he
and
will emerge.
Pierce is having a pretty solid year on a terrible football team.
Watch Deontay Foreman's name at the end of the year.
Yeah, now that he's the focus, they are going to split the carries. What else we got? Tyreek Hill lead the league in yardage by 200 yards. Yeah, it's just not fair, dude. He's so much faster than everybody. And then you got Diggs and Jefferson.
He's the I would say he's the ultimate mercenary. You go to team, he'll still get his number. Like, throw it in the air. I'll figure the rest out.
Just get him the ball and let him run.
That's it.
It's
I'll be honest with you. If he was just the kick returner on the Giants, we'd probably be undefeated.
listen. This is one of the most unique players who has ever existed.
Period.
He literally might be the fastest football player, game speed, who has ever played. And it's instantaneous speed.
Coupled with his quickness and also his strength.
Power.
That's it. Because Jaden Waddle, there's been a lot of fast guys. John Ross, who never made any significant contribution to the NFL, but he put up, I guess, the fastest 40 time in the combine at 4.1, whatever. But
Doesn't matter. Tyreek used to be a really, really, really good punt returner, which means you're different. You're already different.
you know how to make people minutes in space.
It just
and like instantaneous conflict. You know how to get rid of to shed.
he gets to his top speed before corners do, which is that's their whole job, is to get to top speed quicker than you because they have to make instantaneous reactions and close gaps. He's creating gaps because he is so, I'm telling you, Kerry, by the third step he's already at full speed.
Mm-hmm.
I've run track against somebody like that. His name was Eddie Drummond, and he was also an all-pro special teamer for the Lions. So there, you see it, somebody who is at full speed in 3 steps, because you're just like, how are they? We just started. How are they all the way down there already? And Tyreek, it's just, it doesn't matter that he's what, 5'8", 5'9".
I went to the University of Houston where they breed Olympians. I know about this speed. Yeah. Yeah.
A little
I've
bit,
seen it live and in color. Oh yeah.
a little bit
It's
eye-opening.
different.
Yeah, when you're
It's
just like,
different. It's a different. When people are moving so fast that it doesn't even seem like they're moving at all, that's different. It's different.
my favorite part.
You don't even hear their foot touch the ground.
My favorite part is running your best ever, personal best, and still losing by 15, 20 meters.
And it's insignificant.
Yeah. You're just, and you don't know that you ran your personal best because you just got dusted.
And the person who won is barely out of breath. They're like,
And they probably ran their worst time of the year, and they're just like,
probably pissed off.
Yeah.
Probably pissed.
But yeah, that happened against Eddie Drummond when I was a sophomore. I ran 11 flat and still got beat by probably 20 meters. I believe he ran a 10.3. So 0.7 and 100 is a lot of space.
What was he at? Was he a senior at that time?
Junior, I think. Junior or
He's
senior.
just a year ahead of you.
Yeah.
I didn't run 100 a ton, but I remember my top was 10.5.
That was the last time I ever ran because there was just no point
Yeah.
to me. Hey, listen, I'm pretty short, right?
Yeah.
And all of my speed is going to come within the first 40 to 50 meters. And then the stride thing happens, right? So
That's why 2 and the 4 were my joints.
I understand this. So when you're running against like Eddie Drummond and you're running an 11 flat, which is pretty impressive, you know, sophomore.
And he was 5'9", so he was pretty squat too.
Yeah, he was, but just, and then
Power. He had power.
and then you watch the finals of these big meets, and then he's getting dusted, and you're just like, who the fuck are these people?
Like, who's that?
Yeah, who is this guy running a 10-1 in high school? And you're just like, whoa, okay, I probably shouldn't run anymore.
That's why I stopped the hundo. I was like, listen, if I'm gonna do the hundo, I'll do the hurdles, but let me stick to the 2 and the 4, and then like
Just let me long jump, man.
and long jump and high jump. And do
Yeah,
all
just
those
let me
other-
long jump and get out of here. It's the first event of the whole meet. I'm done.
You do those things.
My sophomore year, I literally drove to meets because I was, instead of taking the bus with the team, because
You want to dip out?
I knew that as soon as I know they had me listed for the 1 and the 2 and probably the 400 also, but I'm not doing those.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, Eddie Drummond, man, 11 flat, he ran a 10.3, and I was just like, wow, I almost cracked a sub 11, and I never want to do this again.
That's funny. No, I understand that though.
I'm just like, that's kind of impressive. I'm short, I'm white, I'm young. I was only 16.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there was another white kid, Roger, I can't remember his last name, Roger something, and he was running back / track stud, 100 and 200 meter state champion for small school.
Okay.
And so I was just like, he was putting up like,
He was your inspiration.
yeah, he was putting up like 10-7, 10-8s. He would crack
Okay.
11 every once in a while, so I was just like, I could do it too. Until I ran against Eddie Drummond, it was never again, dude. Never again.
Well, you see where he went.
Yeah. Yeah, you knew it. You knew it as soon as you saw him. This is different. This is different. Jordan Poyer is still leading the league in interceptions, even though he hasn't had one in like 4 games. He had 4 through 4 games, and Pat McAfee did tell him he would give him $1.2 million or something. No, $1 million if he breaks the NFL interception record.
Which is what, 14?
Yeah, it's 14, but he's not going to do it. This is when he had 4 in 4 games. He's like, oh, you're on pace for 17. Yeah, come on, dude.
I'm
CJ,
trying to remember who did 14.
it was way back in the day.
It was back in the day. I think it was Paul Krause. Actually.
Yeah, and it was only 14-game
from,
season.
From the Vikings.
Yes.
Who has the record?
Yeah.
With 69, I believe.
So CJ Gardner Johnson. That's the guy's name that we can't remember. The law firm.
Yeah. Yes. And I think Paul Krause has 83 picks for a career.
So let's look at some team leaders for the last couple minutes of this segment. Defensive leaders. The Niners have the best defense in football. It's rounding together. They are now statistically the best. They've taken over the Broncos spot.
The Niners are about to return anywhere from 8 to 11 players from injury next week. The Niners are about to be a whole mood.
Yeah, and then you look, I mean, it's surprising that the Broncos are up there, but not really if you watch them play. Their defense is excellent. It's just their offense is disgustingly terrible. The other teams, the Bills, Eagles, and Rams, to be expected. Offensive leaders, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, all make sense. Here is a surprise in the top 5. The Saints have the number 5 offense in football. Interesting, huh? 400 yards, basically 400 yards a game of offense.
Wow. They've it's been so patchwork.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that way. Yeah.
Interesting. It looks
you would think that would be more so the Rams, but they've been trash.
I'm guessing if you would dig any deeper into what New Orleans is doing, it's very balanced. This 400 yards
this is what I'm saying.
Is like 220 yards passing, 180 yards rushing. Like pretty almost 50-50.
Remember when Taysom Hill had that humongous game? Yeah. So all that shit works in.
The Bills are the leading passing offense in the league, which makes absolute and total sense. The Chiefs, Dolphins, Chargers, Bucks. See, these are all to be expected.
Yeah. These are suspect.
Yeah, the sack leader as a team is the Cowboys, and they're leading by 7 sacks.
I'm surprised it's not more.
Yeah, they are 1 sack a game ahead of the next team, which is the Niners. Yeah, that Micah Parsons, dude, Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's all you have to say.
The Bears are the leading rushing team in the NFL.
Now that they finally understood who Justin Fields is,
and Herbert, Herbert's the
and Herbert, yes,
they're
using be a 3-man running committee, and Mooney, and so like you really saw for sure, Mooney's the only receiver they have.
Well, they got Claypool now.
Well, now they got. That's what my whole point. They needed a Claypool. Cole Kmet had his first touchdown in 3 years. Okay.
And then Damiere Byrd actually scored a touchdown for them. So when he was with the Patriots,
Damiere Byrd has been in the league for years now, and he's always been a 4th.
No, that's what I'm saying though. So you get Claypool now, so Damiere Byrd doesn't have to be more than what he actually is. Damiere Byrd, when he played for the Patriots, was like Jacoby Myers was Jacoby Myers' first year at wide receiver.
Sure.
Jacoby just has continued to get better consistently.
He's actually worked at it.
And watching the game this week, he has gotten bigger. So he is working in the weight room also.
Myers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because he said, I want to be able to score touchdowns, and I see what it takes. I need to get big. So he put on like 10 pounds.
Yeah, you could see it. You could see it. I was just like...
And so that's why I said he almost had two tutties because...
when I switched over the Patriots game and got that one running, he had actually made a catch for a first down where he had broke a tackle and then like split 2 defenders. And I actually didn't even think it was him because his body didn't look like he... Even though I've watched every Patriots snap this year.
And that's the one he could have scored on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh... He's coming. I see.
So the Eagles, this is why they are easily Super Bowl favorites. They are leading the turnover differential by a landslide. They are plus 14. The next closest team is plus 6. So not only are they generating a ton of turnovers, which they are, then they add Robert Quinn. they also aren't giving the ball up because Jalen Hurts doesn't really make mistakes like that. He doesn't make stupid plays. He'll just run it. And it's smart runs. It's not like, I don't want to say that Lamar Jackson's not making smart runs. Lamar Jackson's are explosive runs.
Yes.
They are wow you runs. He might score on every play. Jalen Hurts is just getting to the most efficient. If it's a first down, he's going to get the first down. If it's not, he's going to slide.
Is looking to master the quarterback position in the NFL.
Yeah.
He also knows he has superior athletic talent. So, he's combining the knowledge that he's attaining and matching that with this already superior athletic skill. And now we are seeing what that looks like on the field, which is why I said Jalen Hurts is going to be fucking ill this year, because I've watched this kid and I know how he works. And you don't become a powerlifting champion in Houston, Texas, if you ain't putting in serious work. You know how many strong motherfuckers down in Houston, Texas? I'm just saying, like, that quarterback.
And he's a quarterback.
He puts in that work.
And plus, the NFL is also evolving to what works for him as a quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we talk about it. Imagine Michael Vick in this era of football. Are you kidding me? All right, I'll see you in 45 seconds, and we will break down this week's games coming up. Michael Vick in modern-day NFL would put up 750 yards a game with 7 touchdowns. It wouldn't even be fair. If Michael Vick could have hit RPOs, like, Michael Vick was doing what Michael Vick was doing when quarterbacks were fair game, right? So, if you ran an RPO back in his day, the defensive end wouldn't worry about his assignment. He would rather take out the quarterback and have that team now deal with their backup quarterback for the rest of the game. So they would just destroy the quarterback. Like, it wouldn't even be a question. They probably put in a backup or a rotational DN and just be like, yo, first play, like Kobe did to Pau Gasol. Just go right through his fucking chest. Yo, Tyreek has a chance to hit 2,000 yards receiving.
Oh, wait. Say it again. See, as soon as I come in, you start talking, and I don't have my audio up yet, so I can't hear a word you saying. I'm just seeing lips moving.
Yeah, I pretty much
excited, and I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I do it on purpose at this point. So, Tyreek has a shot to hit 2,000 yards receiving.
Okay, sorry. I just saw this headline. Phillies hit 5 homers in Game 3 win. Is this going to be another fucking Philadelphia championship celebration year in fucking both baseball and football? I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. I cannot have this be. H-Town, step up, please. Because Eagles are most likely, and then I'm going to please ask upstate New York. Bills, please. I'm going to ask somebody to stop Philadelphia. Please. Help me. Help me.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. All right, so let's look ahead to next week.
The city of terrible love is going to have more to celebrate.
Yeah, they're going to have, speaking of the city of terrible love having more to celebrate, and just 48 hours time, they will be celebrating another W as the Eagles are traveling to H-Town literally this week on Thursday Night Football. What a segue.
Man, crushing these two. Crushing.
Wow, I'm on my shit tonight.
I love it. Crushing.
Yeah, this is going to be another ugly football game. The Eagles are going to destroy them because
big bad. Oof.
What's different about this Eagles team being good, all right? So there are good teams that they will sneak by victories. Like Kansas City is better than basically everybody in the AFC, but they are going to have games where they best sneak by somehow. This Eagles team, with the way Jalen Hurts leads his focus and everything, you can see it. There is no letting off the gas pedal. It's all execution, domination, put them away, move on to the next week. So they're going to blow Houston out.
Jalen Hurts is the living embodiment of Nick Saban. Understand what I'm saying? Yes, he left Alabama because of the Tua situation with the whole.
It's the best thing for him when he left.
Listen to how he talks, his demeanor. It is Nick Saban Jr.
Yeah,
right then and there.
Kerry, it's the best thing that could have happened to him because then he went to the best quarterback guru on the planet.
And then he learned how to play quarterback.
So
that's why I was like, ooh, he has a real shot to make it in the league as a quarterback.
So what
when he was at Alabama, I didn't think so.
Nah, me neither. But what Jalen Hurts is what everyone hoped Tim Tebow would have been. Leadership-wise, and then actually being able to execute on the field because Tim Tebow just couldn't. Jalen Hurts turned himself into a very efficient passer of the football. And he never made bad decisions. He just didn't have a great throwing arm.
It wasn't even just the arm. He had bad mechanics.
Yeah.
It wasn't the arm. It was the mechanics. Now they've worked the mechanics out even as in this year. So from last year to this year, he's worked the mechanics out.
Same thing happened.
You see the difference. You see the shit with Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen, what they did with him was all a mechanical thing, and now he's...
Absolutely.
The same thing happens in my golf swing.
There's an art to passing the football. You're not just there's mad people who throw the football. There's an art to passing the football.
Yeah, man. Same thing's going on with my golf swing right now, man. It's just a mechanical thing going on. I'm not sure what it is, but it's happening.
There you go. Some people look like they trying to hit a grand slam, and other people just like nice and easy with it.
So Philly blowout over Houston. I wonder what the spread will be, and then whatever the public picks will be the opposite because Vegas never loses. Chargers.
And I just to put a button on that, the last thing about Jalen Hurts is that if you watch any of his press conferences, post-game interviews, he's always saying, like with the win, he's like, yeah, this is other thing. And like, nah, I don't care about that undefeated shit. There's this other thing we need to work on. There's this other thing. And that's why I say he's Saban Jr. because it doesn't matter if Saban won by 70. He's like, yeah, well, special teams played like shit. That's it. And that's how you always keep your guys like, oh shit, we still hungry. And so I love that.
Yeah, I would look
that
for.
He's doing it for that team. Rawr.
I would look for Devontae Smith to get in the end zone this week because I thought he would be the guy this past week. I knew Jalen Hurts was going to ball out. I thought this, and I was right. The Steelers did double A.J. Brown. He just mossed their entire defense. Jalen said, I don't care. He's better than both y'all. He didn't go for the one-on-one. He just went for he's better than both of you guys.
And it was the right read.
Yeah, it was.
That's the crazy thing. Like when you have certain receivers, when you had Calvin Johnson, Megatron, double, triple team, it's still the right read.
Yeah.
Still the right read.
I wasn't wrong.
Randy, still the right read.
Well, Kerry, I wasn't wrong. Devontae got one-on-ones all game. It's just they didn't need to throw it to him.
It did. But you know what, though? Devontae ain't tripping like these other young receivers because he knows who he is.
Well, not only that,
and knows he has on the squad, and he knows he's gonna get his eventually.
This is like playing basketball and you watching one of your teammates hit like 7 threes in a row. You know, it's just like, all right, just feed it, just give it to him.
I've seen Steph Curry, clearly the greatest shooter of the basketball of all time, give it up to Klay easily. Klay's hot off when Klay had that amazing game when he scored 60 in 3 quarters and 11 dribbles. Steph was like, here, yo. Yeah, I'm wide open, but you're hot as hell. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, Kerry.
That's what you do. That's what you do.
This was one of those games where this guy is just, he is literally in the zone. Dude, that one where he jumped up in between them. Like,
and it just did this. Minka was about to get a pick. He was like, nah, I got it. Me. And let me tell you something. Minka has had that happen to him 3 times where he's had his hand on the ball this season and the receiver was like, nah, that's mine.
give me that. You know, they talk about that when they watch film too. Like, oh, you
Give me that.
you
Those are gimme that.
yeah, like you can take it out of his hands.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know, D Hop's already been like, oh, you could take it out of his hands. I can get this.
Yup.
Chargers at Atlanta. Chargers off of the bye week. Will Keenan Allen finally be on the field? We shall see. Atlanta is that we don't know if they're going to win this week or lose this week. It's any. The Chargers should win this game.
This ends up being a terrible game to pick.
Yes, but the Atlanta will probably win this game. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So many injuries on. I'd have to see who the Chargers get back on defense after this bye week's over because there's so many injuries. Miami.
What I've realized is that I gotta start picking games at the last second.
Yeah, I pick them too early.
Yeah.
I get ahead of myself. Miami at Chicago. Yeah, Miami. Come on, they're ascending. Chicago's playing a lot better, but
They are.
Miami has a very unique offensive set of the two fastest players in football, both on the same team.
But what's encouraging about Chicago is that now with this move to get Claypool, they've obviously traded away their best two defenders in order to get draft capital. They are going to build around Justin Fields because now they believe that he is their quarterback of the future, and I'm happy about that.
Well, so then that makes sense going for Claypool, who is an excellent run blocker.
Yes.
So totally makes sense. And jet sweeps and things of that nature. It's all the things he's the best at in his own personal skill set.
Absolutely.
Carolina at Cincinnati. Going to be an interesting game.
Oh, the funky ass game.
Interesting game with your boy at quarterback, and then Chase not in the game and no offensive line for the Bungles.
And you got Brian. Brian.
Yeah, that dude on Carolina's probably going to have 9 sacks this game. Man, this is a tough one to pick without Chase.
That is a tough one to pick.
It's in Cincy, and they need it. Like, they really need it. So, I trust in Joey Boy Band. Green Bay.
Brian Burns.
Yeah, Brian Burns. Green Bay at Detroit. I think Detroit's just mailed it in with this Hawkinson thing, and Green Bay should win this football game.
Green Bay has to win at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't beat Detroit, you don't deserve to beat anybody. Indianapolis at New England. Come on. This is Sam Ehlinger, second start against the Hoodie in New England. Please.
So what you're saying is Colts victory. Got it.
Yeah, sure. Buffalo at the Jets. This is probably easily the most lopsided game of this week. Minnesota at Washington. This is going to actually be an interesting football game because Heineke's playing. So these are the types of games that Kirk Cousins would typically lose. And that Heineke surprisingly wins.
A question. Where the fuck is Chase Young?
He's been high ankle sprain or something. He's been out or back or something. I don't know. All season. They just keep saying back soon. We're halfway through. No Chase Young.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Raiders at Jacksonville. Garbage fire mixed with dumpster juice. I'm going to go with Jacksonville because Etienne is getting busy. He's on my fantasy squad now. I need that.
You just got to believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to turn the corner.
I just don't believe in the Raiders. I do not believe in Devontae Adams and Derek Carr's chemistry. I see it. It doesn't really exist.
Do you think Devontae and Aaron late night text each other?
Of course they do.
Hey, you up? What you doing?
I miss you.
I miss you. What you doing for your body?
You want to throw some back shoulder fades?
Oh, hell yeah.
100%.
Oh,
Seattle at Arizona will be an interesting football game because every single game with Seattle is interesting because every single game they have to prove that they are real.
Yo, I am gonna lie. Seattle has been the most fun team to watch this entire season.
By far.
Easily.
by far. It's been awesome.
Wow. Gino. Listen. Yeah, Gino.
Gino, God.
Yeah, Gino. Good for you, buddy.
Plus, this is Arizona, fresh off a win. Now D-Hop is back in the fold full. So this is like a real test for Seattle because this is full-strength Arizona.
Well, no James Conner. So they got Eno Benjamin, and they got this other cat backing him up. But Zach Ertz did score last week, and I don't know how Seattle really defends the tight end too tough.
They are the worst team in the NFL against the tight end.
See, there we go. And Zach Ertz can go, obviously. And now with D-Hop back, that means Ertz is going to really get that one-on-one. So this becomes more of an interesting game.
As I said, every single game with Seattle is interesting because this is like D-Hop's back. Arizona's completely different. How can you play them now knowing that you literally cannot stop Nuke?
And you have a little Mighty Mouse at quarterback who will run all over the field and create 30 seconds of time for himself.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Woolley against D-Hop. Good matchup to watch.
6'4" ex-wide receiver against the best wide receiver.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. See, you got to love it when on the 4 o'clock schedule there's only 1 or 2 games because everybody's going to be watching what is now Seattle and Arizona. What on the schedule was the Rams at Tampa.
Really?
Yeah, but ain't nobody want to watch that.
Nobody.
The retirement home football. So everyone's actually
so sad.
I know, it's right crazy, right? Everyone's actually going to be watching Seattle and Arizona, which was the throwaway game at 4 o'clock.
Look at that.
Look
at that shit. That's crazy.
The NFL's lucky that Seattle and Arizona that Seattle ended up being a good football team. Because if this was still a throwaway game and the Rams and Bucks both are putrid to watch.
Ain't nobody gonna watch that shit. It's crazy. We are in the upside down.
Yeah, 100% this year. Tennessee at Kansas City.
Ooh.
I mean,
well,
Derrick Henry's going to have 400 yards for them to win.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think he'll need to have that many. I think another 2, 190 something.
No, he has to crack 2.
So
even if it's 40 carries, it has to be 200.
At least I think George Karlaftis is now going to be starting because another of KC's defensive ends is hurt. But
their run defense is not very good anyway, so Derrick Henry is going to get. He's going to eat.
It's just not that great. Now the problem is, what are they going to do defensively?
That's what I'm saying, Kerry. So
they just don't have enough people to get after the quarterback, and if you do not pressure Patrick Mahomes, he will dice and slice, and he will run. He will do anything to beat you.
So this is how I look at it. They just don't have enough. Even if Derrick Henry has 40 carries, 250 yards, there's a 2-to-1 possession advantage. They still.
You need more people.
They just don't have enough to score. What Kansas City can, even though they don't have Tyreek in the instant offense, Kansas City could still score in 1 minute flat.
Kansas City even has a better damn kicker. So yeah.
Yeah, so just not enough. This is where the Titans get separated from the elite level of football.
The upper echelon.
Yeah. As they always run it. And plus, Malik Willis is going to be starting. This kid can...
Again?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So, if he does, come on, man. He cannot score with Patrick Mahomes. That's not fair.
So, this is the time that we might actually see Kansas City's defense maybe have a decent outing. We'll see.
Yeah, possibly. Get some turnovers, which is bad news because that means short fields for Patrick Mahomes in that offense.
Well, the thing is, if Patrick Mahomes and that offense gets up 14, 21 nothing early,
it's over.
Right. I mean, you know, Vrabel will still try to commit to the run, but they're gonna have to pass with Willis. And
Well,
so,
see, that's the thing, though, is with that as a scenario with that particular team, you even if you're down 21 and you start scoring points on your opportunities, you still have to stop them, and you're not going to be able to stop them. That's the thing. Monday Night Football, Baltimore at New Orleans, now becomes an interesting game with New Orleans' blowout victory. Is this real New Orleans team? And because Baltimore's defense is terrible.
you know what? You know the question I feel like we keep asking about these two teams: are they for real? Like, is this the real New Orleans? Is this the real Baltimore? We ask this about these two particular teams every year.
So this
every
is-
time we see either a good performance or a terrible performance.
So this is why I said this is an interesting matchup now, because it's just like, all right, which one of these teams is going to show up?
Who's gonna
Baltimore.
show up?
Yeah, Baltimore has a 1-game lead in the AFC North, and then the Saints are 1 game back of the Falcons. So both teams are still in play to win these not spectacular divisions. I'm gonna go with New Orleans, dude.
I will say this though, Roquan Smith being added to that defense. So you have Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen in the middle. Shit just got really interesting. Because if you're gonna ask Red Rifle to beat you, you still got Marlon Humphrey. You still got Marcus
You're not
Williams.
asking Red Rifle to beat you. You're asking Alvin Kamara to beat you.
So now you got Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, the leading tackler in the league. I mean,
So it really comes down to
I feel like New Orleans are going to have to get a little bit more imaginative on offense. And how imaginative can you get with Red Rifle at quarterback? They're
This-
going to have to mix in some Taysom Hill, maybe, at quarterback, maybe.
100%, and you will see Deshaun Jackson on the field for the first time for Baltimore. So
That's right, I forgot all about
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't take a couple shots downfield for him to get him involved
that.
early.
There's no other reason you have him.
And plus, also, game time decision. What is the health of Mark Andrews, who has not really contributed to that team in the last 2 weeks, even though he's been on the field? They have not funneled the offense through him.
Sir.
Yeah, ankle issue. 2 weeks ago in their victory, he put up 0 fantasy points. He had,
Sometimes that happens.
and then the next week
Okay.
he put up like 1.2 or something.
So he's hurt. He's hurt.
He's still out there because he's such a threat that him being hurt, just being out there, still commands attention.
Absolutely.
And they don't have anybody else
Yeah.
except Lamar.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman is out.
He played last week though.
Yeah, but
You know, and then Duvernay, they still haven't figured out what to do with Duvernay, and they just don't have anybody else.
it's
They've gone through like 7 running backs this year. It's like whoever's in their backfield.
it's Lamar Jackson in the Jets. Yeah, like yeah.
So it's been so confusing as to who their running back is that on DraftKings on the Monday night question poll, the running back question is which player will have more rushing yards, and it was Alvin Kamara, and then the other option was
The committee.
no, it said whichever Ravens running back leads the team in rushing was the
love it.
option, because they don't even know.
That's funny. That's funny.
Dude, I've had all of them on my fantasy team this year at
and
one
Alvin
point.
Kamara's the answer.
Of course it is. I keep forgetting, I keep saying Javonte Williams derailed by my 4-game losing streak in the NFL league. Also, I had Patterson as my 3rd running back, who
That's
also
right.
has been out
You
for.
did. Yeah, you did. So I had picked up Algiers in a couple leagues. He's one of those guys. He's a classic committee guy. He'll get you like 50 to 70 scrimmage yards, rushing, receiving, possibly a touchdown. Like, that's what you have to depend on. And then the other guy will have maybe.
No, I know, but I just like
Da-da-da,
Javonte
da-da-da.
Williams, and then Patterson went down the next week, and I have been.
No, but my point is like when you have a guy who like even though, Patterson was converted wide receiver, he was getting all that. He was like not only running out the backfield, catching out the back. Obviously, he can catch wide receiver. Like he's getting you all that, and then when you take your main guy, and then you have to committee that up. It's hard to pick up anyone from what's left over because there's no trust to say, hey, I'm going to give you the rock 20 times and I know you're going to make something happen. So they just try to split that shit up. That's why that running back situation in Atlanta is so nuts. It's crazy that they did not at least look to get someone to be the bell cow. I don't.
Well, Mariota is their bell cow, I believe.
Yeah. Who is not having a bad season?
No, he is not. So let's go into our 333 fantasy football game picks. Your boy is still pacing everybody out. I'm starting to catch my double-digit groove. 10-6 is usually what that's like normal. Mm-hmm. I've caught 10 wins in a row, a couple weeks in a row now, so I'm starting to. Well, teams are starting to be who they really are. The NFL makes sense. Even some games, where you might not pick them, but realistically, you do know. Like, come on, dude, you knew better than that. You knew better than that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you gotta try to make moves. I get it.
I'm in that point in the season where I'm not so far out that if I just put together a couple weeks in a row, I can sneak back into contention. But I just gotta trust my gut and just stay there.
Shout out to Buck, who had 4 weeks in a row of double digits, so he has stuck himself into second place.
I see the come up shit. I see that bullshit. I seen it.
So at 72 and 50, I'm almost what I would normally be. 75 and 50 would be mathematically 65%, which is last 2 years in a row was what I had picked games at, is about that, somewhere between right below 70%. So getting into my groove. That Cincinnati and Cleveland game last night, dude, I should have known. I should have known when I saw the spread what it was, that it was going to be a blowout by Cleveland, because that was the best way for the books to win the most money. Was for Cincinnati to not cover the spread and for Cleveland to win the money line straight up, and it was blowout city.
It was, and like you think about it from that aspect. I think about it.
I should have just known better.
Player and historical aspect, and yes, like I brought up earlier, Joey Boyband don't beat Cleveland. He don't do it. He has not figured that out yet. Jets don't beat New England. They just don't do it. They haven't figured that out yet. And so I have to go from that aspect. That's the thing that I have to know, that I do know, and that I went against my own self on these particular things. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Second half of the season left.
I know college ranks, though.
Yeah, I'm getting dusted.
Your boy is in summa cum laude.
Yeah, whatever. I don't watch college football.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't watch it at all. I know nothing about who's what. I don't even know who's playing college football.
Well, listen, I'm trying to see the stars of tomorrow, so I catch a little something.
Yeah, you're light years ahead of me in that one. So in the fantasy league, your boy here is paced out to a 7-1 start, which is impressive in fantasy football.
Yeah, especially this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I've just had the proper combination of hits in weeks, like AJ Brown this week, putting up fucking 1 million points.
Monster.
You win. AJ Brown's on your squad, you win. That's just the way it went. Because I was mathematically not projected to win this week, but this guy puts up 48 points, makes it kind of easy.
Yeah.
You lost by less than a point.
Let me tell you something. I make one substitute. Listen. I was so pissed off.
I imagine you were.
I was like, are you kidding? I make one sub, and it was a sub that I was thinking about making anyway, but even just that bullshit.
Yes, but you are set up for the second half of the season because your entire roster is running back somehow. I don't understand it. There's so many of them. It just I keep going on the waiver wire and there are none. They're all on your roster.
Yes.
Um,
So
I was able to grab.
if y'all have a need, and you have something I need, holler.
No, but how I fortified my team was I was able to grab Etienne off the waiver wire as soon as I saw him start to get busy. Like, okay.
It's crazy. I didn't even know he was there. If I knew he was there, I would have snatched him.
And then I was also able to make that trade Taylor for Aaron Jones and Pittman. So now I have 3 solid running backs for the rest of the year. I'm set in this league. The NFL league, I am struggling. This league, my roster is set for the stretch.
But I feel like even though like I'm catching these, like I'm in the spin cycle right now. That's fine, because I always come out in the wash, baby, smelling nice.
Well,
so I feel like we are on a collision course eventually.
Speaking of collision course, it will be this Sunday because you and I are matched up in a 3-3-3 league.
Luscious.
So it will be Joey Boybay going against Jalen Hurts. That is for sure.
And let me tell you something. I had one squad. I have Jalen Hurts, and I also have Josh Allen. And the right play, and it was against you, was to play Jalen. If I'd have played Josh, you win that. You would have won. But I was like, I just feel like Jalen versus Pittsburgh is just. I was like, even if he doesn't play in the fourth quarter, because I knew this was going to be a blowout. It's like, even if he doesn't play in the fourth quarter, I feel like he's going to put up enough. And he didn't even run. He got 10 yards rushing that game. But he had 4 touchdowns.
Well, see, the way I look at it is I try to make sure that I put together, outside of Etienne, because I just knew he was going to take over, put together players that are going to be playing meaningful football late in the season when fantasy games matter. Instead of teams that like are going to be having players on the bench, because either they suck or they're blowing teams out and they don't need these games and whatnot. Especially late in the season, you don't want to have starters being benched because they've already got playoff spots locked up, and now you're in the playoffs in the fantasy league,
and
it's
now
just
you
like,
can't do shit.
Wait a minute, what am I doing? I got to go waiver wire a running back right now. Are you serious?
Exactly. I mean, it's so funny you talking about it now because I used to talk to you about this shit years ago.
I know.
But let me tell you about my NFL squad right now. So I just have my kicker on a bye. But Herbert is back off bye. I got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, D-Hop, Waddle. I got...
Oh, no, I saw it.
Taysom Hill.
I saw it.
It's at it. I got Kenny Walker at the other running back, the Eagles at defense, Deontay Foreman, Gibson, Pacheco, DK Metcalf, and Waller. I just didn't drop Waller yet because I'm like, eh.
Well, I mean,
I got Taysom Hill starting at my tight end spot.
Well, so what you're trying to tell me is we're going to the Super Bowl then, because my squad is decimated at running back, and they keep putting up like 1 point. Now, I could have absorbed the 1 point this week.
Yeah.
But then Devontae Adams went and put up 2 points. So I had 2 starters contribute 3 points, and I lost by 5.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
that is the worst.
Devontae really took like 1 catch for 3 yards, 1 carry for -1 yards. This is what you left Green Bay for?
And I got and apparently the person who I'm going against this week, I should win. I'm already in the 2 spot. I'm 5-3 in this league, and I'm on a 3-game win streak. That's what it is. I was 2-3. It was like looking like trash.
Yeah, see, I was 4-1, and I've gone on a 3-game losing streak. I'm now 4-4. Now I'm actually 4-4, and looking up at the rest of the league. But in our 3-3-3 league, I am 7-1, which is dominant.
Now you mauling in that.
Well, not only am I getting victories, the last 2 weeks I have averaged a victory of at least 55 points. They have been blowouts.
Now you mauling.
So Colton still struggling at 7th. You are still down at 8th place in the
It's okay.
3-3-3 league.
Listen, I will be the top of the barrel, bottom of the barrel. That's not how this is going to end, baby.
I know. I was.
Trust me.
Listen, in the NFL league,
Comment.
at the halfway point, I was in last place because Derrick Henry had been out for 4 weeks, and I went on a 4-game losing streak, and then ended up in third.
Yeah.
So you just got to go on a streak. It can happen. I just don't see me not streaking. As long as my guys stay healthy, I am loaded right now. Let's see. Josh All-In has stayed steadily in second place for pretty much the entire season.
He's your biggest threat right now.
Yeah, and then Emmanuel has started out was like 0-3, and has basically run on like a 5-game win streak. It looks like.
It's dope.
And then Andrew I remember him being 4-1, and now he's 4-4. So that's fantasy football for you.
It is.
Most people are within striking distance. Like I said, that's why me being 2 games clear of everyone else is a little bit surprising. I'm not going to lie. Because in my other league, in the NFL league, everybody in the league is either 4-4 or 5-3 or 3-5. Everyone's like
you've seen the parody, the true parody in fantasy football.
well, I mean,
I know, it's crazy.
in that league, most everybody who started out 0-3 or whatever have gone on 4-game win streaks, and everyone who started out hot has all gone because everyone who started out hot has had somebody very significant who has been out for the year, and it's like.
And those who have come back have been on those waiver wires, like picking the right people, or like looked at some and was like, I think they're gonna get some more time. Let me get them now.
Dude, I've had single-digit losses 3 in a row.
Yo, that's the worst. I know, like those are the tough ones. But then it also lets you know, all right, I'm building my team the right way, and I am built for the second half. I always build for the second half of the season. So laugh at my bottom feeding ass now, but I'm coming for you, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I do have Jalen Hurts, so we'll see.
Yeah, you snatched him from me in that one. Ooh.
We shall see, homie. All right, man. All right, Thursday football. I don't know what you're usually working on Thursdays, but this last Thursday I actually did a watch along where I just watched the game because it's on Twitch. So I streamed the game on one screen, and then I just went live and just talked about the game as it was happening.
Let's see if I can actually do that.
I mean, I did the whole game, so if you can catch the second half, you can pop in. I'm probably going to do it again.
If I can, I will.
It was a little bit exhausting because it is a whole football game, but at the same time, this was a chance to flex some football knowledge because this is as things are happening, breaking things down.
You can call Blaze, and you can really see like this is what we do,
and then talk about these things instead of just talking about the games that happened and what we think is going to happen. This is like, so I see why the watch alongs are pretty cool. I'm gonna probably do it again. I don't know. Stop in if you're not busy.
Yeah, this Thursday.
I mean, the shit goes to like 11 something.
Yeah, like literally, But if we do it the following Thursday.
No, it's this thing I just started doing, just to try to like, get back in.
I won't be able to do that. Yeah, we're gonna have to like have a little conversation outside of this and like figure out which Thursdays those can happen.
Well, also I might start doing Mondays because I'm not doing Mob Deep Mondays.
Okay, now Mondays.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do these
are real.
Sundays I'm not gonna do it because I'm watching football all day. But like that.
Yeah, I'm not.
That
Mondays, just one game, and we could do that. I can. Yeah, Mondays I can make happen.
All right.
Thursdays are too tough.
All right, we'll talk about it. All right, homie.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna go hang out with the wolf. I appreciate your attention span and time. Yeah, NFL football. Halfway over